Okay. Hi everyone. It's me, Ron. Uh, coming to you with Melanated Council for tonight's discussion. And before we get into that discussion, of course, we got to go through our routine. You know, typically we go live Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and wherever else you are within this great big old giant world of ours, tune in. Feel free to like, subscribe, enjoy the show, but also comment, leave, something. Let us know that you're here as we continue on with our Black History Month. And we're just talking about certain issues, topics that are relevant to the Black community, and also just to give a different perspective on a lot of things. Because, again, we're so used to having one perspective and listening to one perspective when there's probably a different perspective that's out there. So that's why we're here, and that's what we do. We do what we do, what we do, how we do it, and yeah, that's it. That is it. That is what we do. So as we are moving right along, want to first and foremost ask the chat, ask anybody who is watching, how is your day going? How was your day going? How was your weekend? I know some of you guys may have had like midwinter break. How was your midwinter break? Did you do anything exciting? Did you relax? Did you use the time to do like a little mental health day? You know, things of that nature. And, you know, just doing a virtual check-in, a virtual round robin, and just see what is on everybody's mind, what is everybody up to, how's everybody feeling, and basically just let everybody know that is watching, that is tuning in, that you are at a safe space here with us, and feel free to chime in whenever you feel like it, whenever you need to. Excuse me. And also for those folks that are watching on Twitter, we won't be able to see your comments. And so I'll be kind of bouncing back and forth between a few screens. So if you have any comments, those folks that are on Twitter that are watching us, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to leave a like, retweet the video, things of that nature. Let folks know we're live. You're full in effects. And as I said, as we're getting into it, before we dive into tonight's discussion, just want to do a check-in. Do do a pressure check if you would, just to kind of see where everybody's at. And while you guys are coming in, I will share my my weekend. Weekend went pretty good. My oldest son, he had a indoor track meet invitation up at Grand Valley State University, which is here in Michigan, over there by the lake. And he did pretty well. He did pretty well. Hey, Chad, you are not annoying. You are not annoying. But I feel the sentiment. I feel the sentiment. I think I would say you are annoying is not a good word to use, Chad. I would say interesting. You are our most interesting fan due to the fact you bring a different perspective every time. You bring a different perspective, and a lot of times you do cause us to think and scratch our head like, Chad does have a point. Chad makes a really valid point. Or like, Chad, I see what you're saying, but we're going to disagree with you, and these are the reasons why we're going to disagree with you. So, Chad, no, you're not annoying. You're interesting, and I like that. So welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We're just going through the weekends. How are you doing, Chad? How was your weekend, Chad? How was your day so far? You know, all that good stuff. Just type it in the chat if you're able to. I don't know if you're driving, if you're, kick back, relax at home. You know, if you're in the safe spot, let us know. How was your weekend? How was your day? What did you do? If you did anything at all. Some people, they just don't do anything over the weekend. They just be like, nope, not doing anything. This is going to be a couch potato. I'm going to grow roots and I'm going to binge watch on whatever TV show, whatever anime show. Let's see, Memberberry Days. Had a bit of Memberberry Days. Started up the Dolphin emulator. Ooh, that actually sounds very interesting. Just what is that really? If you could briefly describe what it is, go for it. I've heard of the emulators, but at the same time, most of the emulators that I know of are more so like video game console emulators. It's like the Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Sega. Ooh, okay. All right, yes. Love the GameCube. I think next to my PlayStation 2, I think the GameCube would have been the next runner-up. But then again, it would have been a tight fight with the Nintendo 64. So, GameCube is up there. I love the GameCube, especially the games that I have for the GameCube. Oh my gosh. Yeah. If I had to own any Nintendo system, I think the GameCube definitely fits up there. Yes. Super Mario Sunshine, yes. Super Smash Bros. Melee, yes. Sonic Adventure, sure. Animal Crossing, I wasn't too big on Animal Crossing. I'll be honest, Animal Crossing I was not too big on. In the Sonic Adventure 2, again, I wasn't really too big on that one, but the Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Mario Sunshine, yes, those two, definitely for sure. Was on those ones. Definitely on those ones. I know for myself, I basically finished putting on new brakes on my car. Yesterday was a good day to do it. It was the snow had pretty much melted away. It was warm-ish for a Michigan February. Typically, well, actually, this same time last year we still had snow, and so this year, yesterday, I was gonna say yesterday, it wasn't too bad. The snow was pretty much melted, and I was able to get my brakes done, my front brakes, I should say. I already had my rear brakes done. I had to make it a point to get my front brakes done and changed over. So went ahead, got my front brakes done. That was awesome. And everything just pretty much flew. Everything pretty much flowed like it was supposed to, how it was supposed to. And we just had a really, really good time. Well, I actually had a good time and whatnot. So yeah, that was pretty much it. That was it. And again, can't complain too much. It was a little bit of a difficulty because a lot of the tools that I actually needed, I didn't have, but I did have. They were just either too big or too small, or it was the right one, but it just wasn't gripping the bolts that I needed to do in a orderly fashion. So I know that I will have to go to the store and I will have to get a couple more tools so I can effectively change my brakes while I'm changing my tires, and also get some WD-40 and a wire brush. And just call it quits. Maybe some shop towels, to clean off everything once everything's all said and done. So that was that. Um, I know I have to take a look at my alternator again. And again, I installed my own alternator like a few months prior. I did my own. I did my own alternator. I did my own alternator installation, and that went pretty much smooth. I just got to look at my work and make sure I did everything right. Hopefully, one of the screws that, or one of the nuts, I should say. I know one of the nuts is prone to like coming loose, and so I got to make sure that that nut is on there securely. So I probably have to do that. Is it? Actually, it's very relaxing. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, it is very relaxing. I find it, and it was also challenging too. Let me say that too as well. It was a relaxing challenge because I've always wanted to do my own work to my car, and if I didn't have to take it to the mechanic, I wasn't going to. And so when I got the price quote of getting my alternator done, I was quoted like $500. I'm like, I don't have $500 just sitting around anywhere. So I looked it up, of course, through YouTube of how to change the alternator. And coincidentally, there's a guy who had the same car, like literally same car, same color, same year. I think the only difference was he didn't have a sunroof in his car, which is versus me. I do. I have a sunroof in my car, but everything about like underneath the hood, everything was the same. And I just pretty much followed him step by step of how to change my alternator. And once I got that done, I'm like, cool, great. So, and again, it's something that I've always wanted to do. And once I finally kicked myself in the butt to go ahead and get it done, I got it done. And I'm happy that I got it done because yes, it's something that I know how to do. I might go back and check my work just to make sure everything is all good and straight. But other than that, yes, it was something I'm like, if I could do it and don't mind doing it, I would definitely do it again. Definitely do it again. And so the next big project I have for myself is to change my own oil because I know I know I need an oil change. I know for a fact I need an oil change. So I'll be building up some courage to change my own oil, and get that done. And then I think the next thing I want to get done is change out my struts and my shocks, change those ones out. Because right now the ones I have on there, they're more so just your standard base model and everything else, which isn't that bad. But I want to go more so for a performance one. Is it what way easier? What, doing the oil change? Oh yeah. In my opinion, from what I've been told, doing your own oil changes is super easy. It's just me. I'm just very cautious of being underneath my car because yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, me, I'm just that type of person where I don't like being fully underneath my car because my car sits low as it is, anyways, and so naturally it does. And so the one thing that I tend to worry a little bit. I know I shouldn't do this, but just being transparent. The one thing that I worry about is the car falling on me. That's probably and most people who don't like, I don't want to say it's a fear, but who are more so hesitant of doing stuff, especially like when it's like underneath the car. That's kind of like the one where it's like, yeah, I don't mind doing it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. But I messed around. I got a hydraulic. I got a 2-ton hydraulic jack that I bought. I mean, I got like 2 jack stands and whatnot. Then of course I got the standard jack that I got. I know. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, like if that's the way how to go out is like that. Mm, like just make sure it's quick and painless as much as possible. That's just me. That's just me. But I got to take a quick pause because the other part of this fabulous trio just showed up. Y'all know her. I love her, and I know her too. So let's give a round of applause virtually if you can for the one, the only, the lovely, the illustrious Elle. Man, I like it.
It's a round of applause.
Yeah, but I also like the name too.
Thank you.
Reminds me of a Jay-Z song.
Exactly, because you can't knock the hustle. Yes.
Yes.
You can.
Yes. I love it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. 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 So yeah, of course. Did you hear what was going on?
About you're gonna do an oil change.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait a minute. The champ is here. Okay, Rocky. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, it's in quotes, so I'm guessing that's like a line, or maybe it's something Jay-Z has said, because Jay-Z gives himself every nickname under the book. So.
Mm-hmm. For real. For real. And it's funny too, because I think you and our other portion of our trio to make this trifecta complete, I think he was running on the same lines as you. So y'all give it up. Cue Rocky theme. There you go. Dun, 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 yeah, because my man down below, he's gonna come in because every day he hustling. Every day he hustling. Y'all give it up to Toby. Yeah, round of applause, round of applause, round of applause.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I want to listen to more Jadakiss because I was listening to his group, The Locks.
Ooh, okay, L.
Yeah, like a little bit, like 1 or 2 songs. And I was listening, I didn't really know that Jadakiss was part of The Locks until I was like really paying attention to the words, and they mentioned him. I was like, oh, or he mentioned himself rather.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so this is, I don't know if you see, this is my sister's little dog, Kingston. Kingston.
Hey.
He likes to dig at the front, like the mat at the front door.
Yeah.
So I'm taking care of my sister's dog for a couple of days while she's out of town.
Nice.
Yeah, but he's a sweetheart though. He's like digging for treasure. I hope he finds it because that would be awesome.
There you go. I would not blame you. Go ahead, Kingston.
Yeah.
Like Jamaica Kingston?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Kingston. Hey, Kingston. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's got on a little bow tie. You can't see it, but he has like a little blue bow tie on. It's so adorable.
Very
There
nice.
you go.
Yeah, I have to share a picture of him on Twitter and just everywhere.
There you go.
Bow tie. That's too sweet.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So, Elle, did you do anything this weekend?
Yeah, it was actually quite a busy weekend. My friend came into town, and they were staying with me, and we just hung out all weekend. It was really nice. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then my friend flew out early as fuck Monday morning. And then my sister came in late Monday night. So I had to go to the airport twice.
Dang.
So I am running on, I don't know, steam and vibes at this point. Like it's nothing. So yeah, my sister's actually at our mom's place because she's going to because she's like flying out of town to go to Belize. And well, like I sort of volunteered to drive, like, and it wasn't a good idea. It wasn't well, like like especially the earliest fuck flight. That wasn't a good idea. Not too bad, but anyway, yeah. So I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of like, this is gonna sound weird, but it was also kind of fun driving my car because it's new to me. It's a 2019, and I just never really drive. So because I work from home, so I don't really go anywhere. So it was kind of fun to just like drive at the same time, but just not at those times. Like picking up my friend, they came in at 3 p.m. on Friday, so I was like, okay, that's a reasonable time. But taking them back to the airport was just like, it's like, why the fuck did I agree to this? Why did I agree to this?
That's rough.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it was a really fun weekend. Busy, but good.
there you go. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, holistic Hottie, I won't complain. I'm not complaining. I'm not. I'm happy. I'm satisfied.
There you go.
No good deed is unpunished.
Yeah. Thanks, Iraqi. I hope so.
There
The only punishment is my lack of sleep.
you go. That'll work. That will work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sir,
Moi.
you there?
As for me, in my house. Oh, actually, that works. Yeah. As for me in my house, we took family photos, which will eventually drop. That's funny enough. Yeshua just dropped a whole photo shoot. Himself. I was just thinking of him. I was like, yo, I need a photographer. I mean, we had family pictures, so I went to Maryland on Friday morning, like ridiculous, like 6:30 a.m. Basically didn't sleep. When I say basically, I mean literally. And then the whole Friday, I because the company where I work, we have two headquarters, one here in Massachusetts, and then one in Northern Virginia. And since that's like the whole Maryland, DC area is where I grew up, I figured in preparation for the potential relocation back to Maryland, I might as well stop by the campus and see what it was like. And I was able to actually catch up with someone who's a friend. Well, we're coworkers. We just joined the team, so we met in December. But it was really cool. Like we caught up. She's also Black, and so I mean, not like we explicitly kind of forged a friendship from that, but we're the only Black people on our team. And then we just kind of ended up meeting up, and we had a good time. We went out to dinner too, and I was like, yes, this is the vibes I need, because this does not happen here in Massachusetts. At least not it's just a different culture. I feel like you have a lot more of the commuter vibe here, but in the Northern Virginia area, you have a lot more people going out to happy hour, actually taking advantage of DC. Even if you're not in DC, you're still in Northern Virginia, which is its own young professional vibe. Because where I work in Mass is not near Boston. It's 30 minutes. So it's not like you're really in the heart of Boston or Cambridge. You're out in the burbs, deep out in the burbs. There's not much out here that people are going to intentionally go out and meet up. I mean, a few times pre-COVID, there were outings here, but it wasn't that much of a thing. So anyway, I was like, yo, that was really cool. I was exhausted by the end of the day. I feel like I got a little bit of a nap in the office. Like I found a conference room and just like slept for a few hours when I got to that campus because like it was already like a long week. We don't get President's Day off, but a lot of people who have like families and stuff will take off Friday or Monday. So it wasn't really a much of a real work day. So I didn't like miss like meetings or anything. I just had to like Bedford, Burlington. So like it's literally like right there by the Burlington Mall, like maybe within 6 minutes. And I live in Lowell, so it's not that far. It's like 16 minutes for me to get to my office. So yeah, that was cool. That was Saturday. That was Friday. Saturday was the family pictures, like 4 p.m. It was fresh, can't lie. We looked good as a family. The digital pictures are here, so they'll be posted eventually. I don't really post on Instagram, as you can tell if you see my Instagram. I don't really be posting, so but I will, for my family's sake, if nothing else. And then Sunday I came back, so the flight return was like 4 p.m. So I mean, it was a pretty short trip, like not even really two. I guess technically it was 2 whole days, but I didn't get home until like 1 a.m. just because I was out so late in Virginia. Me and my brother both were like out late doing our own things. So by the time I got home, it was like 12 really. It was like midnight. So it doesn't feel like I was there for very long. But it was still a good weekend. Like good to see family because I don't really go home often to like unless it's like holidays. And President's Day kind of like it's not a real holiday for me, but it still worked out. But then Friday, actually Sunday, once I got back, I almost hit the ground running because there was this hip hop. It was like a R&B and dance hall showcase. So I guess there were artists, pretty multicultural. Like a lot of them, I feel like were Spanish, or some kind of like black mixed, whatever. So there was different artists, men and women, and it was just like them. It sounded very like modern dance hall. I don't know. It was interesting. And so I only went because a friend invited me. And so I actually ended up catching up with a bunch of people who I hadn't seen in some months. So that was here in Lowell, Massachusetts. So it was really cool. It was really cool. I was really happy to like be able to like, because I don't know, I've never really been much to like see local artists or local performers that much. So it was cool and, very diverse. So that was chill. And then that really ended the weekend. It was very tiring because we went out somewhere after that, just like a someone's like kickback type of place, like a house. So I didn't know the people, but the same people who invited me there. So it was nice. Family and friends, I guess. Family, friends, and work. I kind of actually had a lot of like socializing in all 3 aspects, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that was the weekend.
Nice. All right. It's like you guys were, well, Toby, you did some frequent flying.
I did. I saw Chad's message. That's exactly what happened. I had the glass of red wine and I showed them what was up.
There you go.
Photographer, you listen to me. This is how we're going to do this.
Like a real Olivia Pope.
Yes. I think so.
Oh, man. You didn't watch Scandal?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. I was like, why does that name sound so familiar?
Yeah.
I've seen like an episode maybe.
Yeah, no, she's always drinking red wine and eating popcorn. That's like all she runs on.
Hey, that's all it takes.
Runs DC.
That is all it takes. Well, sheesh. Well, I guess Mark wants to get on with the program.
Mark, ready to talk. Mark jumped in like boom.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't mind me.
Ha 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 ha. Go ahead, Toby.
What are you drinking this week?
I think it's the same, like, because that's the thing is, don't be alarmed because like a lot of the bottles of wine that I have, they're at the same exact level until Tuesday night rolls around again. So this is the Roscato. I think it's a bit dry. It's the smooth red blend, soft and silky.
Ooh.
just like me.
Okay.
Or, no,
Okay, shoot your shot.
so there's
Okay.
one Sweet Red. Where's the one that was like bold? It was like dark and bold or something. And I was like, I was gonna say I like my woman like I like my wine.
There you
Dark-
go.
Okay.
Dark
Or I
and
was
gold.
Or I was gonna say something about myself like that, but I just love all these because I'm just like looking at the descriptions. It'll be like semi-sweet, and I was like, these are just setups for so many pickup lines and puns.
So I guess I mean, this will be maybe a little bit on the topic, but there's always the whole women saying they like a man who's tall, dark, and handsome, and I've always perceived the term dark as like mysterious, like can do like 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 dark, like kind of like mysterious, sort of like you can't really quite figure them out. So tall, dark, and handsome,
Mhm.
but apparently like a lot of people just assumed dark was like the skin tone. It was like a
That's right.
tall, handsome black man. But I never thought of it that way. So when you said dark and bold and that's how you like your women, I was like, I'm sure he's, meaning the skin tone. However, what would like never really like I never really heard of a man like prefer a woman who's like dark, like mysterious.
Okay, like almost kind of like personality wise.
Yeah.
Where in the world is I was gonna say where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I'd give her my role.
You think she's dark, like mysterious?
I mean, she got the hat barely covering, like you can barely see her face. I feel like she's like this kind of like spy type figure. Or I don't even know what she is. Thief. I don't even know. I just remember playing these games as a kid, and like you're supposed to find and catch her, or like it could be like someone else who's sort of like maybe like dressed in. I'm trying to think of what would be the equivalent. Like you're dressed in like all black, maybe, but like. Yeah, it's hard to think of like what's the James Bond-esque equivalent for a woman, or like that kind of like dark in the shadows, mysterious, smooth, swarthy.
I mean, I guess I can understand that with like Italians. They're pretty sexy. I'm not gonna deny that. But I don't know. When I think of like a dark, mysterious woman, for whatever reason, I always think of like Angelina Jolie.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think I know this.
Oh, I can see that with Eartha Kitt. I can see that. Like a dark, mysterious black woman. I can definitely see that.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Work.
You know who
Yeah.
else I feel like could possibly pull it off? Like if you just saw her for the first time in your life. Probably be like Regina King. But like if you kind of know her personality or like you're seeing like interviews, she's not really like that. But like you just saw her like walking down the street almost. So you'd be like, she kind of gives like off like a mysterious kind of air, I feel.
Okay.
Like she's definitely not like the girl next door type,
Gotcha. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, man. You just put a whole new spin on things, El. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That black veil, that sort of like formation, right? Like that formation where they were in the kind of black veil. I think that is like a very poignant example. Because I mean, even Regina King, like the harder they fall, like that kind of like was she the one that was like the villain woman?
Yeah, she was definitely on like the villain side.
I mean, it's kind of like this, like like this mysterious. I don't know if mysterious is the word, but it's like it's not as bold and like I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's a certain vibe to it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like a vibe to her that's just sort of like you can't really like figure her out like when you look at her.
Mhm.
That's in my opinion. Like she's, I guess, like intriguing. Like yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's a good word.
There you go.
um,
There you go. Okay.
yeah, if you're just sort of see her for like the first time in your life, she'd be like, like, no, not Regina. Regina came from two. Wasn't she like a kid back then? She would be from 227. No, I'm talking like Regina King like today. Like in The Harder They Fall or like in Watchmen, the series. Regina King like today. Yes.
Sorry, that was very funny.
Like 227, that like the sitcom, that was like what, from like the 80s maybe? Or maybe from like
Attractive, boring looking people out there.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Attractive, but boring looking. Oh, I see what you're saying. So like just kind of standard cookie cutter.
Huh. That's interesting.
This is C-Chat. That was my
So she'll never be she should never be mysterious. I get that.
That's fair.
Yeah. I feel like that's like, like we've seen like the Olsen twins when they were like children, but if you were to see them today, I feel like they would kind of be like dark almost, like kind of like mysterious vibes.
Okay.
So when you're more private in life and you kind of like are doing your thing and
true. I feel like even like with like their features too, like just like how their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see where you're going.
Yeah, but since we've seen them like in Full House and like on a fuck ton of like Disney Channel TV shows and movies, we kind of just like know them in a way. But if I was like introduced to them for like the first time in my life yesterday, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know. I don't really feel like I feel like back in the day they were like the girl next door types. Now they're not so much.
Do your own thing, kind of like. I mean, there's definitely those kind of like. I'm trying to think. I don't know if you want to use like Billie Eilish or who's that one person who like this kind of like someone Plaza, Aubrey Plaza maybe. Yeah. Where you kind of have this kind of like different like kind of dark humor, monotone, sort of like not monotone, but like you have like you can kind of like deadpan everything that you say, and like you just end up being like this kind of sensation. I feel like that kind of also that might partly be that vibe. Jessica Jones, oh my goodness, would be a very good example if you've seen Jessica Jones, the Marvel show.
Yeah, true. I feel like she can go both. What Chad said is probably like alt girl vibes. I think he's
alt girl. Yeah, I think that's.
But I feel like Jessica Jones is probably a little bit more alt girl because I feel like she could be like the ditzy Zooey Deschanel kind of girl next door type, but also she can go the whole like dark mysterious type as well.
You know, it's funny because when Toby was saying Billie Eilish, I actually thought about her. Like, Billie Eilish, if nobody necessarily like heard of her, but they saw like a commercial of her, they're like, who is this? Because she's not necessarily out there per se. She's more so to herself, kind of private, try to keep things like to herself. And at the same time, she does kind of keep you guessing, like, okay, what are you doing next? Like, what do you like? What do you don't like? Things of that nature. So I think Billie Eilish could be like that dark, mysterious, but then again, also at the same time, could be alt girl, alt girl vibe in a weird way.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like I can see that. This is interesting. This is interesting.
It is. It is. You know, it is crazy because I was just what was I doing? I was on Instagram just because I wanted to be on Instagram, and there was a like I guess a short on the
Yeah.
little thingy carousel, whatever. And like she was in a concert, and I'm like, okay, so she was dancing kind of provocative, but she wasn't dressed provocative. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, okay, Billy, like I see what you're doing there, you know. And it was like, I wonder if more people would kind of, especially entertainers, if they kind of have like this vibe where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to give you everything that I got, but I'm just going to give you like little bits and pieces to keep you guessing. And that way, if you are hooked on, I got you, rather than just saying, I'm going to lay everything all out because I'm an entertainer and whatnot. So it's like, there's no guesswork or there's no imagination that's being up there. Just bam, here you are. And I feel with Billy, she's more so like, I'm gonna keep you guessing. I'm not gonna lay everything out on the table, and you know, I'm gonna still keep it kind of classy and still offer you just a little bit to get you hooked. And again, I'm like, okay, Billy, I feel you. I feel you.
Okay.
Because art popping about sexual energy. I don't really care about
Like Billie Eilish. I can see that. I can definitely see like the bisexual energy.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she came out as like was bisexual or something. But to kind of tie this into like the topic, since like right now we're sort of in a way categorizing or in a way like stereotyping these girls, these women. And I do feel like we do this in when it comes to online dating. So the topic is the hustle of dating. And you know, like this topic we're most likely going to talk about like talk about it in like in two ways, but there might be like a third way. I don't know but like one of the ways is online dating with the dating apps, and the other way is through like these podcasts or like these shows about like becoming a better man or how to be like a modern woman and
hey, Roblox girl, cat 7.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to have you.
Thanks for drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Roblox girl, cat 7. Yeah, so like with the dating apps and also with the podcast and like these shows, like online shows about, like podcasts about dating, how to becoming like a better man or alpha male, and you know how to attract somebody and what you need to be or what you need to do to be attractive, and how you can become like a high value man or a high value woman. And I'm using quotes because all of that is bullshit. That's just my opinion, which is the truth. Right. So we were just talking about how like certain celebrities may, like if you were to just meet them for the first time, how you may like categorize them or stereotype them. Like Billie Eilish may give off like alt girl bisexual vibes. Let's say like Regina King might be kind of mysterious if you were to just meet her for the first time and not in a sitcom from the 80s. If you were to just meet her for the first time. Who else? And like Angelina Jolie might come off as like, like mysterious as well, and things like that. So a lot of these dating apps, you know, like they give off the impression that they're trying to help you find somebody. And like they kind of are ish, somewhat. But with like every app, it's to collect information about you. And you could see like what your preferences are, who you tend to, you know, maybe look at, like what kind of pictures you tend to look at longer than others. You could go with like, you know, the face, how it's pixelized, and you know, like these algorithms can detect faces and they can detect smiles, like the space between the eyes, like things like that. Skin tone, of course, like clothing that you're wearing. If they notice that Toby looks at girls who are in bikinis longer than when they're in, you know, formal evening gowns. Not to call you out. I don't know what you do, Toby. I don't have access to Hinge. So
I don't have a Hinge. There's two of us.
So
Oh man.
Joke's on you.
Right. But like, you know, like so these apps can like gather this sort of information because, you know, our data is so valuable. And so like that's pretty much like why apps are created. However, these apps also do help you meet people. That's pretty much their whole point. It's like, hey, we're going to help you meet somebody of the gender of your choosing, or genders of your choosing, of your preference or whatever. Or choosing, I'd say. However, they're not like really here to like help you find someone. If you meet someone, cool. If you don't, whatever, they'll most likely gear, like sort of like make the app in a way to make you kind of hooked, so you end up paying. You know, like a lot of these dating apps tend to show you, oh, over 50 people have liked you, but you can't see them. So what you can do is pay to see who's already liked you, so you can expedite the process of meeting somebody, because you're probably looking for somebody with a particular look, who's probably like attractive, has a hobby, and is, I don't know, has got something going on, probably like a job or something. Or it could just be someone who lives very close and, may tick off some of those boxes that you feel that you need, or you know that you need, or you just want. Or you may just want somebody on your arm that's just insanely attractive to kind of show off to your friends, but not really care for that person because, you're young and you don't really know what the hell you want. So, but like they kind of, they give you like these options of what you can pay for. It's like, through monthly subscriptions, but they also make the app annoying enough to kind of make you think that paying for it is worth it. So they might throw in a bunch of ads. They might, make your make your actions very limited. Like I know that Tinder and Bumble you're able to swipe all over the world to see like, who you can match with. And they've noticed that these apps are used for traveling a lot. Keep this between you and I. You can just travel for free on Hinge, because for whatever reason, Hinge doesn't really know where you live. You have to pick it yourself. So if you say you live in Raleigh, North Carolina, I'll just be like, okay, I believe you. So it's like they're not going to question if you're in Raleigh, North Carolina for 20 minutes and then you go to Chicago, Illinois for another hour. They just believe you.
That hyperloop hits different.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, they invented it, clearly. I'm not going to question them. This app is made to be deleted. So
oh, we hustling for real.
Yeah, but you could pay for other things on Hinge, but I don't even know what you could, because it's like the traveling thing to me is the most attractive thing on dating apps. So if I could just do it for free on Hinge, like I might as well.
There you go.
I don't care who's liked me. just want to travel. It's like, do you want to send a rose instead? It's like, no, I just want to travel. I don't know what the hell a rose does to this day. But yeah, so these apps are designed to get you addicted and hope that you can find somebody, like they'll most likely put certain like they'll probably design it in such a way where like the people that you're most likely attracted to, because it knows who you're attracted to, which is kind of crazy, but it knows the type of look that you're attracted to, so they might put a lot of those people kind of in front, and then it sort of gives like that sort of gambling aspect, because it's like, oh, this person might like me, this person might like me, this person might like me, so you keep swiping right, and what ends up happening is like, oh, you ran out of swipes, so now it probably incentivizes you to kind of pay so you can have unlimited swipes. So it gets you like that gambling addiction, because it's just that whole maybe the next one, maybe the next one, maybe the next one, maybe the next one, maybe the next one. So that is, a massive part of like the hustle of dating when it comes to, dating apps. So yeah, end rant, continue, you guys. I'm kidding, but it's like, and go.
And go. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Absolutely. That's pretty much what every single app is on phones, like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, it's all just games on your phone, except the Melanated Council stream. Like this isn't a game.
Nah, never that.
No.
Nah, no games here.
No. Don't even smile. No fun. It's all serious. I'm kidding.
I lost. Like I said, I lost already. I lost already. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got a pocket full of quarters. I ain't done yet. Oh man, we have the hustle of dating has been in some cases a huge money making business. And not even just the apps on phones and whatnot, but also to Elle's point that there's people who build podcasts devoted to dating and giving dating advice. And a lot of it's really trash. It's like, no, we shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be thinking that. No.
Instagram is the biggest dating. I've heard of people meeting people on Instagram. Like, it's tempting. Like, honestly, sometimes I just go to like press like the search icon, and then it doesn't just go directly into a search like it's Google. Like, it has like all these other Instagram pictures, reels, galleries, videos, what have you, of like things that you might be interested in, which is like kind of cool. So it'll be like, here's some tips on design, like web design and stuff like that. And then like the next post will be like a really hot guy. I'll be like, ooh, that is totally my type. So let me look at this guy's picture. And then it's sort of tempting, honestly, like to be like, oh, and now you see why people slide into people's DMs. Not that I did, but I thought about it. That's true. Filters, angles, and sometimes like the people don't even like. People still look great in person. I'm like, you look, but I get wanting to look a certain way, even though like you might feel different on the inside and want to be, perceived differently on the outside. Random fact: I never use filters.
Yeah.
Quick side story. When I started using Instagram kind of a lot was like right out of college. I was working at Best Buy and I had like a really shitty phone. It didn't even have a front-facing camera. It was really old. And it had Instagram. Like, for whatever reason, Instagram could work on the phone. but barely. So what I would do is like if I were to try to put a filter on, the phone would like the app would just crash. So I'd have to like share a post really quickly without having to use, or else the app was going to crash. So like I just got kind of in that habit. It's like I can't spend too much time doing this. It's gonna crash, and it won't. Like I have a new phone, but no, it's like so that's just like been my habit since ever. It's like I can't use a filter. It's gonna crash. It's gonna crash on me.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting
Yeah.
association.
No. What? Wow. Really, Toby?
Oh yeah, it is Tuesday. That's really important though.
Well, the numbers are lining up. It's a magical moment. At 2:22 p.m., I definitely posted. Well, I posted Snapchat. It wasn't really anything serious, but I was like, it's 2:22 p.m. on 2/22/22 on Tuesday, and it's a palindrome. What's up?
That's true.
So this is how you get girls. By the way, take notes. This is it right here. Expressing the love of numbers and all things mathematical. If Misha's here, I would. Well, it's fine. I'll still say it. The Patreon is coming soon. Links will be dropping. How to nerd out and nerd in the nerd in the streets, and you know the rest.
Nerd in the sheets as well.
Oh, stop it. Oh, man. I can see
Nerding
it.
in the sheets, though. There's nothing wrong with nerding in the sheets.
Keep it very academic and professional.
Yeah.
Nerds have the most fun.
Okay.
I've heard this Tinder swindler thing, but I have no idea what it's about. Maybe someone, I don't know if it was New York City. I know there was like a New York City meme page. I probably went with like the year New York City or one of those type of pages where it was like the first slide was talking about Tinder swindler. But like the rest of the 9 slides were something else. And I didn't bother to look up what the Tinder swindler was. But I just assumed it was someone in like New York deciding to like scam women out of money by like pretending to need help or something. Or it could have been more locations, but I'm gonna find out what's going on. How could we not talk about the Tinder swindler? And we're talking about hustling people.
Yeah, I didn't get around to watching the Tinder swindler yet. But it seems like he had a type which was like blonde white women.
Oh, interesting.
Not to stereotype blonde white women, but because they're blonde, it doesn't mean like they're stupid. It's just those were. But I do want to watch it. I do want to sit down and watch it. Because like some guys would be like, oh well, women do this all the time because like we go to dinner with them and have like they pay for the meal. Like some women I hear, like I don't to my well, I guess I do know one woman who did that on purpose to get like free meals. She went on online dating. But she ended up meeting her husband. So
Okay.
everything's okay.
Does she get free meals from her husband?
I guess so, yeah. I mean he does cook, so
Mission
But-
accomplished. Hey.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
but she's gone on like a couple of dates where like I guess she like kind of just wanted some better food because she had just moved back home from college. And I don't know. Maybe, that's probably just like the story she tells me, but it is kind of funny. But I don't know. Like, I guess there are some women who just do it for free meals.
Hey.
I mean, you gotta hustle. That's another hustle. If they skip town and change names. Oh man.
People were scammed.
Yeah. How much money though? Like, I saw him. Like he's like not bad looking, but I don't know. Like talking about tens of thousands in debt. That's so sad.
That's not good. Dang.
Mm-mm.
Actual scammers. I wasn't even thinking about that. as part of this. But yeah, I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
there are actual scammers out here.
Yep. And actually, I just found the article from the New York Post. I'm going to post that in the chat. Bam. There you go. Article on Tinder Swindler. It came out today, surprisingly, out of all days.
What did?
I guess this article.
Oh, okay.
They really just gave him that. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, like the one chick who I was reading up on, she dropped the man $250K. Like she dropped $250,000 on this man, and yeah, that's it.
That's definitely hustling, though.
Yeah, that's a hustle. That's a hustle and a flow. Sheesh. Not only did you think about it, hustle and flow. I mean, hustling women out of thousands, and then you just flowing right along because that's a steady stream of income. Sheesh.
If you want to be dumb, that's fine. Watch, like there's probably gonna be more guys trying to do that.
Oh yeah, but of course.
Mm-hmm.
But of course.
That's funny. That's funny though.
Like, sheesh. That's great. That's nuts. But yeah.
Of course, I know since they gave it to him willingly. Oh no. Because yeah, I feel like that's the thing. You don't end up having a case in court if you like give money to people and you don't really realize.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Heidi, say that to the people way in the back that couldn't hear you.
Yes, predators go after vulnerable people for sure. And like we're all susceptible to it because there's going to be moments in our life where we're vulnerable and end up doing like some dumb shit. Like I'd be lying if I said I never did any. I never like gave a motherfucker money, but like there's like times I've done like some kind of dumb shit, and it's like you think back and you're like, why did I even do that? Like, but you live and you learn. But if there's one thing I learned about money is that if you do give away money, always expect not to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta keep the money tight. Oh, I would love like whenever we start talking about financial stuff, with scams, too good to be true investments, all of that. That's gotta be on the menu because there is so much out there. I mean, like I won't go too much on this aside, but like there's a lot of things masquerading as legitimate opportunities. Some things that are legitimate and maybe just might not be that feasible. Like, you might make money if you join like, I don't know, like maybe you're trying to do like trading, you join the trade, or you're trying to do like marketing, network marketing, or you try to do like even just like your own independent thing, and then like maybe a brick and mortar. So there's a lot of things where people are a little unaware of the costs, and then you lose out on a lot of money, even for legitimate things. Not to speak of illegitimate things that are like actual scams, flips. Like what are those flips? Cash flips. Send someone money, $100, they'll give you 1,000 back. Just magic. I know a thing or two about math, and I think that sounds pretty legit. Just send someone $100, they give you 1,000 back. Sounds legit. Penny stocks, which that's like gotta be careful because it can pay off. There's just so much out there, and I feel like a whole episode needs to be dedicated to like legit and not legit. What's the difference? None of those cost $80K. Yeah, no. You still end up being better off giving someone $100 and never getting it back than whatever the heck these women are doing in Europe.
Yeah, they're freaking doing 80s.
Right now.
And they're just upper middle class. I'm like, that's a big thing for even upper middle class.
Yeah. Oh god. PPP loans. Going to PP prison.
Mhm. Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Stimulus checks, Lord knows what was happening. But yes. So this whole hustle. Yeah, that's like the illegal thing, the Tinder swindler, and then you have like on the corporate level, like we talked about, you have Hinge, Match.com. I mean, their stock has been like really high, especially after like with the pandemic. There was sort of like a people were like figuring out how to date during the pandemic, but I think it was like when things started to reopen a little last year or something, stock just skyrocketed, and so like online dating just like was soaring and thriving. And it was like this whole hybrid thing where some people really were just content with dating virtually, and that was maybe not as like acceptable. But then because of the pandemic, it's like, oh, this is actually good. Now let me like, you feel comfortable because the stress of meeting with people in person, plans get canceled. It can be a lot, but then in person with virtual dating, and then it being a little more natural. So I think that's like interesting how Match, Tinder, all the whatever. Cause I don't remember exactly who Match.com owns except Tinder, but a lot of those companies obviously have made a lot of money on all of this. But then there's also like a lot of independent actors, which is part of the inspiration for this topic because there's a lot of podcasters, YouTubers, and people who like are gurus, right? Way back for the beginning of time, and you like, what was the first profession? I mean, you might say that prostitution or like just in general. There's like always been some or like matchmaking, like you have arranged marriages. You have a lot of things that have always had its root in like matchmaking or people giving some kind of advice. But now it's like everyone is a guru. Everyone has some secret information. Everyone kind of has like you were saying, I think about things about bettering yourself, right? How to become like an alpha male. I just like was looking at a bunch of things, and I was like, there was so much out there, like the alpha males, the red pill movement. Someone actually asked me if I was subscribing to that because of the whole high value woman conversation we were having on Monday, or not Monday, at the beginning of the month. And someone was like, "Tell we should make a Patreon about having a high value woman cook for him." And as a joke, I posted that. And someone was like, seriously, like asking if I subscribe to the red pill movement. I was like, I barely know what this is. I actually have a playlist of videos that I've seen just out of curiosity. I'll come across them on YouTube. And I don't know, it's definitely interesting to say the least, but it's not always very attached to reality, or like it's a bubble, as a lot of these things tend to be. But people make money off of it. They have their Patreons, they have their subscribers, they get clout if nothing else, basically trying to like make people feel like what are they missing and how to build themselves, how to be a high value woman. So
it's like people want the cheat codes to life, and or the cheat, and like I feel like dating and relationships is just like another part of the cheat code. Like what you guys were saying, like multi-level marketing, penny stocks, things like that. That's like a cheat code. It's like, so like I guess we do the same thing when it comes to dating as well. We're just trying to find the answers, even though like. And we just assume that this person has them when they're really just trying to make a buck at the end of the day. Because they'll just be like, all right, you should come to my workshop. It's, $30. It's online, so you don't have to go anywhere. And I'll tell you everything that you need to know. And it's like, well, you have all these videos that are like 3 hours long. So none of them are telling you what you need to know. But I get it. Like, I don't know, like, I understand how it can suck in a lot of people. Like, I'd be lying if, years ago there weren't like some that like kind of like sucked me in. And it's always like the same, type of guy. Like of course he's attractive because that's like how you get your attention anyway. It's as shallow as that sounded. It works. Like they say like all these things. Like, I feel like they make it sound like you're not that like you're not that bad, but you can improve here. So it's like kind of like a soft like entrance into that sort of world. And also you're just like in a vulnerable state. you probably feel like you need to be at a certain part in your life at this point in your age, because like, you saw 3 people get engaged on Facebook, but then you also have to think about, okay, these 3 people, I went to high school with them, but I'm not really that close to them. Like, they're not really in my social circles anyway.
Right.
You actually when I actually sit down and think about all of my friends, I'm like, who I'm like close to and like I interact with like on a very like consistent basis. Very few of them are married. Most of them are single. And it just seems like we're all like in the same boat. But, like, you are in a vulnerable state. So you get kind of locked into that and you're like, maybe I can break out of this, maybe I can change, maybe I need to do anything. And it's like, you shouldn't really be living your life in like
In hopes of becoming someone else.
that. I was gonna say more so like in hopes of finding somebody. The show called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, they had like, it's a series / musical ish, kind of like Glee, where they have like songs, but it's absolutely fucking hilarious. It's a phenomenal show. But like, there's like one song where the main character is, I don't know, doing something with like, I think she's probably like volunteering at like a high school or some shit. And the kids are like saying, oh, you should forget about him, but you should also like, get like a makeover and put on high heels and do all these things that are kind of outside of your norm to forget about him. So like the song was like put on 6-inch heels just for yourself, wear like sexy clothes just for yourself, look like, put yourself first for him. Like that was like the hook of the song. That was, and it's true, like it's like we tend to, sometimes we go through periods, at least I feel so, like we work on ourselves. We might be like, oh, I'm not going to date, I'm not going to do XYZ sort of thing. But in reality, you are like getting yourself, like you're just working on yourself for like maybe like a couple of weeks in hopes, and you get kind of tired of it because you're just like, this should be working by now. I can just be talking about myself. I've definitely been there, but when I heard that song, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. And I've had friends for sure who would like be lying to themselves, saying like, oh, I've been working on myself for so long, I just want a girlfriend, blah blah blah, this and that. When in reality, it's like, have you really been like working on yourself, or have you just been like doing things by yourself for a while and you feel like you should be done by now? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but
Something on that part, like I was thinking like a friend was saying like, or not, actually that was a different thing, but yeah, a lot of people will say like, yeah, I just want to work on myself. I mean, I'll say that a lot. Shoot, like, yeah, I'm just kind of in the stage where I'm working on myself, not really looking to be in a relationship, yada yada. But then I'm like, jokes on you, I'm not really working on myself either.
right, yeah.
My life will never be together, and I'm just like, wait, so you're never gonna get to the point where your life is fully together before like you're ready to be in a relationship, you're ready for this. So it's like, well, at least make the most of that time. Because like maybe sometimes people will say they're working on themselves, but it's just an avoidance, right? You're like avoiding kind of like based on whatever past.
I feel like that's like 90% of the reason, to be honest. But go.
Said
I feel like that's like 90% of the reason people are like, I'm not really trying to date right now, I'm trying to work on myself. It's like, no, it's because you're hella jaded and tired of dating, and you're just tired. That's it. Like, you're just tired. Like it's like if you were to go for like a freaking 26.2 mile marathon run, you're probably not going to run the next day because you're tired.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
understandable. It almost feels that way, at least for me. Just like mentally, it's like I'm tired, but I would like somebody, because who the fuck wouldn't? Like, let's be honest. Life's a lot better when like you're, making out, having sex with somebody.
Okay.
Like, but it's like, well, but that's not all there is to life. You know, you still have to like do certain things and, you know, make yourself happy for sure, you know.
Yeah.
It's only working on yourself if there's actual progress. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like,
wholeheartedly agree. Yeah.
you have an intention of progressing versus you just kind of are like hiding out. You're kind of just like, because like, you be honest, I'm just tired of dating. I don't want to, whatever. That's fine. No judgment there. But like, if you kind of are like, I'm working on myself, but you don't really have that intention, then it's like, well, at least be honest with it. And I mean, that's me talking to myself too, because I always say like I'm working on myself, trying to get my life. Or I always say like I'm trying to get my life together. That's like my favorite way of saying
Yeah.
it. But then it's like, oh, am I actually, or is it going like the other direction? Am I like not getting my life together and instead letting it fall more into disarray? I mean,
Chad said empowering the pelvis. I feel that. But another thing Chad mentioned was like, you know, shallow self-improvement, the eat, pray, love shit. You go abroad and you're suddenly a different person. Like, because it's like, it's true. Like, sometimes we do things for like it's I feel like it's sort of like that initial high, like, oh, you worked out like 3 days in a row, then you're like, I'm done, you know, I'm feeling great. It's like, yeah, of course you're gonna feel great because it's the endorphins from working out, but you need to continue that shit for months and maybe the rest of your life. It's like, it's not just like a temporary thing. Alexis Joseph said something. I'm sorry. I know that you were saying something to her, but I feel
no, Blue, go ahead, please.
like what Alexis said was absolutely incredible. She said on YouTube, she says, people wait to be their optimal selves and miss so many opportunities because they believe they can't until they are perfect. And I think that's very true. Like, because as someone who has their shit together, and I graduated college, I have a full-time job, I'm a homeowner. I feel like that's like all of the things that people say that they need until they can find somebody. And I have to say, like, I could have had a boyfriend the entire time. Like, there wasn't anything that was like so super mentally taxing that I just couldn't do. Like, closing on my home took a month. That's like a month out of my life. That's fine. That's not so mentally taxing that like I couldn't have like a relationship. Finding a home, you know, that only took a couple of months. So let's say the entire process, let's say it took 4 or 5 months. But like, that's not like such a ginormous chunk out of my life as if I were to have like, you know, we're in a relationship for like 3 or 4 years or something like that. Or if I mean, I was still dating, you know, I was going on dates while I was like closing on my home, while I was looking for homes and things like that. I was still going on dates. But I don't know. You definitely do miss out on people because you put a lot of things. I don't want to say like the cart in front of the horse. It's just there's literally no cart or no horse when it comes to like, you know, like meeting people and like certain aspects of life. I guess there can be. Let me backtrack. It depends on where you are at mentally in your life. So when it comes to like working on yourself and loving yourself, I could probably say with confidence, probably like the first time in my life, I really do like I'm really like happy and like okay, like being single. Like, it does it bother me at times? Yeah, of course, I'm human, but like since I've been like working out and, you know, like seeing a therapist and all that, and, you know, doing things to improve my mental health and, you know, like take control of, you know, handling my like my high functioning depression, like I definitely don't feel like that doom and gloom as much as I used to. You know, it's like it's very, very like minuscule and minor now. But I have noticed like, you know, like the people that you were surrounded by when you are like depressed, you know, are, you know, like they're still going to be there once you're like kind of coming out of a depression. So you sort of need to like figure out how to vet your friends, who to hang out with, who to like, you know, kind of like talk to and things like that. And like I still talk to and hang out with like all of my friends. However, I'm also like in need of new friends to like, sort of like do things with and have like, different kinds of conversations and things like that. Not to say like my friends now are all negative, doom and gloom. It's actually quite the opposite. But there are still times when I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I've 100% found like my tribe yet. Like these people were my tribe but like I feel like I'm starting to migrate I need to start migrating now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think like, but yeah, like what Alexis said was absolutely was true, and I feel like especially men tend to miss out on a lot of potential people because they feel like they need to have the best job and the best like like be totally fit and have to have like the flyest clothes and the best car in order to get the girl when that's honestly not the case at all. For like a lot of the times, like it's true, like as corny and as like old school like dad advice it could possibly get. It's like confidence is really key. If a person is just really comfortable in their own skin and it's like that can definitely win a whole bunch of hearts for sure.
Okay, Rocky. I see what you did there.
I just kind
I
of
see what you did there.
Called Quest.
I mean that's a good tribe. It's a good tribe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I'd be ridiculously independent and like I love just like being by myself with myself, but like yeah, you feel that too. Like, sometimes it might be nice to have someone. And I just get so comfortable and so settled that you don't necessarily do that work on like I mean, like you said, like you can't always wait to like be that better version of yourself, but you still do want to like improve yourself to some point, especially if you feel like you're dealing with a lot of things and you don't want other people to deal with XYZ, or like you're trying to like just get yourself to another stage. But people do date like straight out of high school or during high school and they go through things together, right?
Exactly.
They buy a house together, they do all these things. So it's not like impossible at all. And it's definitely a lesson to be learned for myself too.
It ain't all peaches and cream. Wait, it ain't all peaches and cream on that boat because you still got issues. You still got issues. And I can say that, and I can say that from experience because, wow. Okay.
That's a personal experience.
I mean, that's another thing about going through things together. Like until she looks through your phone, like it's her being insecure. Like that's all it is. Like she could like it's her being insecure and unfortunately not fully trusting you. But it could just she's not trusting you because of her own insecurities. But I mean, trust is a hard thing to to create, but you can't really be bringing your old baggage into a new relationship though. Like you're learning from your old baggage, like, you unzip the baggage, you look through your notes and you're like, okay. But you don't like fucking take out your notes and start putting them on the coffee table, on the bookshelf and just having it be part of y'all's relationship, y'all's home. Like it's like don't be stupid, don't be ignorant, don't be naive. It's not like you never open your fucking luggage, your baggage, but don't start to just unpack your baggage everywhere that you go. It's like keep it, hold on to it, and you might be able to just the baggage might start to become smaller and smaller and be put further and further away. But don't make that like the centerpiece of your home.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely agree.
Thank you.
Definitely agree. And it goes both ways too. It goes both ways because most men, they may not verbalize it to a certain extent, but you can tell by their actions, if they're carrying a lot of baggage that they're bringing to the new relationship that they haven't let go of, or that really haven't dealt with it. And so it's more so, incoming.
We got an incoming raid from Twitch.
Yeah.
Hey.
Also,
Hey, yo, what is going on? Yes. Hold on.
Watch your open. For that content.
Yes.
So,
man, appreciate you, Mish. And Chad, appreciate you for that comment as well. I just saw we're all top shelf. Yes. We have to, oh my gosh. Actually, if I can remember the video. But yes, we're all top shelf, reaching for the top.
Yes. Shout out to me. Shout out to you, Mish.
Yes, thank you. Mish being amazing, of course.
It's just
Yes.
There's a lot going on.
Hey, there we go.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up? What's up? And then is that, wait a minute, because I let me check to see, because we got some new people coming in on Twitch as well, I think. Yeah, Sammy Lace.
Yeah.
Yes. New chatter. So welcome in, Sammy. Welcome in. Make yourself comfortable. Let's see. And then Ricanti. Yep. I know you've been around here a few times. So yeah. Oh yeah. And for anybody else that's following me on the channel, thank you. Welcome in. I'm gonna do this real quick. Make y'all feel nice and welcome. Bam. Got that. And then also put that up there as well. So just in case you guys want to vibe with us off stream, boom, you got that link there. Yes. And again, thank you guys. And then again, shout out to Mish. Thank you, Mish, for entrusting your community with us and with our discussions and whatnot. And thank you guys for coming out and vibing with us, especially after Mish's stream. If you guys have not checked out Mish has been killing it in Mega Man. I don't care what nobody says. Mish has been killing it in Mega Man. Yes, Mish has been killing it in Mega Man. Mish would do better than me. I probably would have died and gave up and shut the game down.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Nope, I'm done. No, Mish been putting in work. So shout out to Mish. Shout out to you. And yeah, we're gonna get back into this. This hustle of dating.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you
mean? You're the kindest.
Please.
Yes.
You're the one.
Yes.
And so the pun master has returned.
The power supply out of it suck, yeah.
Hold on. I believe it. Next to some other things, but we're gonna leave them other things alone. But yes, I believe that one. I would definitely believe that one. Oh man. So, speaking of, I know we talk about a lot about self-improvement and this, that, and the third and whatnot. So, and I know we kind of dabbled into like preferences and stereotypes and things of that nature. How do you guys feel?
Dang, yo.
Oh man.
So you gotta put a surge protector on the surge protector?
Might as well.
Yeah.
I will say, So, Mish, was this before or after the boss fight?
Ooh, that's important.
Was this before? If it was before the boss fight, ouch. If it was after,
That's too funny.
oh man, oh man, oh man, that's funny.
Anyways,
Oh.
I meant to do that. And let's go right.
Hey,
Totally.
come on, let's go rate this channel real quick. Oh man, that's hilarious.
And on that note, let's go. It's like, you know what time it is when I kick the car. It means it's time to raid DMC.
Oh man. Yes. So if you guys want to catch on the shenanigans, you got to jump on Twitch. And I, ooh, yes, chat. And I,
Yes. Yeah.
oh man, I see the whole meme in front of my face.
Right, yeah.
I see it. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna start crying. Oh my goodness. Again, if you guys want to catch in on shenanigans, you gotta jump on Twitch and check out Mish cosplay. I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
like, talk about laughter. Yes. It's some shenanigans that's like, did that really just happen? It really just happened. And Mish turn around. Yes, it really did just happen. Like, BRB. Yeah. Yes. So check out Mish. I'm gonna shout you out one more time, Mish, and everything else. Just because I can do so. Bam.
Boom. Shout out.
Boom. Shout out. And so you guys check Mish out. Awesome at Mega Man, whatnot. And and so I know part of the
Oh no. Oh well.
Yeah, okay.
Part of the
And I oop.
he kicked the power switch himself. Oh,
And I oop.
I was like, Ron, no.
I know.
So, as I was saying before I ooped myself, and I know Misha gonna probably clip it too. Anyways, what I was saying was the community suggested that Mish does Metal Gear Solid, and I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
am
that's
waiting.
I'm excited for that.
Yes,
Switching Solid.
yes, I meant to do that.
Yes.
100%.
I mean, tis the day. 22222.
Yes. Make a wish and then pop just came off.
Pop the switch.
Yes.
Plot switch. I mean
Plot
twist.
switch.
Don't pretend like you didn't say that one on purpose.
Yeah.
Our puns are intentional on this channel.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Puns are always original.
Yes. Puns are always welcome. Puns are always welcome.
Never played a Metal Gear Solid game, but like that was always a series that just seemed interesting and just like really twisted. But like I've seen some trailers for some of the games, so I would definitely watch.
It's like playing a movie.
Really, it really is.
Like, it is good though. Like, the cutscenes are long, but like they're fun. Like, everything's fun. Yeah.
Yes. I think my favorite Metal Gear Solid game that I've played so far. GameCube callback Ron.
Hey, yes, from the Dolphin emulator. Yes.
Yes. We were just talking about that. We were just talking about it. And I was going to say, I think that my favorite Metal Gear Solid game that I played was Sons of Liberty.
Okay.
Sons of Liberty. That one was, I think, in my experience playing Metal Gear Solid, that one happened to be like my best experience playing a Metal Gear Solid game. Like the one that came out for PlayStation way back when. That one honestly gave me PTSD. That one gave me PTSD. It was like, no, not doing it. No. But when Sons of Liberty came out, oh yeah, I was all over it. All over it. And then I think the next one I played was Guns of the Patriot. That one was a good one too. That one was a good one.
That's when he was a little older, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the trailer that I really saw because that's when I started because I think that was when I was like high school, like late high school. Super Smash Bros. Brawl already came out, so I had a better idea of who Snake was. Before that, I was not like that hip. So that was I remember seeing the Sons of the Patriot, Guns of the Patriot trailer. Also, and I'm gonna have to find this video to send real quick. Send it into the chat.
There you go. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2. Mm-hmm.
All right, why can't I copy this? Oh, it's not letting me copy. Oh, wait.
Ooh. Toby. While Toby's going and getting that, got a question. So I know we talked about stereotypes. I know we talked about preferences. I know we talked about like a lot of different things when it comes to the aspect of dating, especially with the dating apps and how like the algorithms pretty much put the cream of the crop that you're looking for at the top, and then everybody else just kind of filters in after that. Does anybody date like outside of their race? You know, and if so, what kind of experience was it? Both good, you're going to do the good, and if you're going to shed some light on the bad, go for it.
Yeah, no, I've dated outside my race. So the good was like this white guy that I occasionally see. I felt like the good was, I don't know, like I felt like I could be myself more around him. Like, this is gonna sound weird and most likely just me projecting shit, but just also based off of like experience. Like mainly I've dated Black men, not necessarily like that's my preference. It's just that's who I attract mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel as though like it's very easy for me to connect with Black men because we're honestly just because we're both Black. And so like, you know, we understand like systemic racism and like biases and, you know, like certain, this like, you know, like the everyday bullshit, so to speak. I do feel as though like as I've gotten older, like, you know, talking about like police brutality, racism and things like that, it's no longer like a deep topic. It's sort of like it's not a shallow topic either, it's sort of like in the middle. Because it's just like, yeah, we both sort of know this. Like, so it doesn't really it's not like as deep, but sometimes but it's a very easy way to kind of like get conversation going and kind of feel like you're creating some sort of connection when you're kind of not. It's like having a really sick, twisted, negative hobby. Because it's, you know, talking about racism is not fun. It's not like positive really, but it's just because you could talk about it for like hours on end. It kind of creates like this false sense of, connection and understanding. So I feel as though like whenever I date black men, it's like sort of see me as black first, then a woman second, and then finally like my individual self last. And what I mean by that, it's like, I hope this doesn't sound fucked up, but I hope I can articulate this in a way that, doesn't sound bad. Okay, so like the black aspect, being able to talk about systemic racism, bullshit in the, workplace, things like that. And I feel like the woman part second is what's kind of hard because I feel like it's very like gender biased. And I always feel like black men sort of expect certain things from me, I guess because of, how they grew up as well, because we most likely grew up in like similar households. However, just because like you're a nerdy black person too, or you grew up as a nerdy black kid too, you weren't a nerdy black girl. So you're still benefiting from like a patriarchal society. So in my opinion, it feels like they feel as though like they sort of expect certain things from me. And of course, this is probably just mainly projection. I'm speaking more so not necessarily for all black men, but Jamaican black men in particular, because I feel like they definitely grow up with a more traditional aspect. That's definitely like the more religious aspect, like what they expect of women, especially like black Jamaican women. It just seems to be like a lot. And, that just sort of intimidates me because I'm like, I'm probably not the Jamaican girl you're looking for, like it's like, I'm just me. I'm Elle. I'm just some like kind of awkward, nerdy chick who's
This is not the Jamaican girl you're looking for.
Exactly. I'm not the Jamaican you're looking for.
Yes.
Not the Jamaican you're looking for. And it's like, I kind of, it's just like, I wish, people can just see like my individual self. It's like, yeah, I like anime and video games, but that's not like really all there is to me. It's, it's like I like having intellectual conversations about different things and, different aspects of certain things. But, it feels like because I'm like, into anime and video games, it's like, oh, that's a quick like connection and she's pretty, she's successful. So like, this is it. But it's like when I try to get to know him, it just seems like there's not really much to him. And it's just like, I don't really see, like, I don't want to feel like you're just fulfilling a role. I want you to like be my partner. I want you to be like, I want us to be like on the same level. I don't want you to feel like you need to be like XYZ doing certain things and I need to be doing ABC certain things. And of course, this is most likely, a lot of it could just be due to projection, but also from shit that I have experienced personally where I feel like, and I've always kind of felt this, where it's like black men in particular seem to kind of try to stuff me a round peg into a square hole. And it's like, it's just not working. And they keep trying to kind of manipulate that for me to like act like a certain person when I am just not like that intrinsically. This could just be, absolutely, parents can be a big difference when you don't. That's true.
True.
That is true. That's very true. I thought you were going to say, my bad. I thought you were going to say like parents, like how you grew up and what you've seen. Because like growing up, I saw like my mom pretty much just do everything. Like, my dad barely, it's just like his job was just coming home every night, essentially from work. Like that's just what it kind of had to do. In my experience, national has a bigger impact on sex. True, that's very true. Like, that's very accurate. Like culture, like nationality, culture is very important because, but even if it's like Jamaicans, like Jamaicans born in America, there still seems to be that sort of aspect, that sort of expectation of certain things. Of like more traditional gender roles, I should say. That's what I probably should have said from the beginning. It just seems like from like whom I've dated, like in terms of black men, it seems like it was more so traditional gender role-ish sort of things. And I'm sure white men and Latino men and Asian men probably expect things like that, or like have come across things like that. Like, there's certain aspects of that are similar throughout everywhere. It's just,
Mhm.
like I've mainly just dated black men, and I've dated, like a handful of white men, like that. But I've always felt that, like I got, like, to me, from my experience, not, saying that this is what it is. This is, your mileage may vary. This is my mileage. Um, like I haven't dated too many white men, but the white men that I have dated, it just seems as though like I could just sort of just be myself. Um, I can see that. I guess that's one of the good, nice aspects of online dating, because you get to meet people who would most likely be outside of your social circles. And it kind of makes it interesting, because like if you were to picture like these social circles like back in high school, or if you're just like, let's say you're at like a fictitious party,
Mhm.
and you just see people just sort of like clump together who they would just sort of naturally go to. It's not like, hey, I see a group of black people wearing Attack on Titan shirts, let me go talk to them, they seem cool. While I'm walking to that group of people who I could probably gel with a little easier, it's not like I'm not noticing any attractive hot men in different social circles, but it's just like the chances of me actually speaking to them would probably be like slim to none. And I can understand like the intimidation factor. Like it's scary as fuck to go up to somebody. Well, it's scary as fuck in general as like a woman to go up to a guy in person and just, start macking, start like spitting game.
There you go.
Go smack.
But like
Hey.
I have actually gone up to like a white guy and just told him, like, just introduce myself and say, hey, like, just I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, but I think you're really handsome. That just made his day. I'm sure he thinks about it maybe like once a month, because men actually don't really get complimented.
Mm.
Especially like from women strangers. And as a woman, I never had to, like, even if it was just like annoying ass cat calls, that's still, as shitty as that sounds, like a compliment. It's like it's something about your looks that's attractive, and then they want to say something about it. Not the best course of action, because it could be kind of scary, but it's definitely something that men don't really get. Men aren't catcalled. Men aren't really like, you can see like a super hot guy as a bartender. He's like, you probably think, oh, girls are probably talking to him all the time. They're getting drinks from him, getting drunk, this and that. But, I've asked attractive bartenders, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure girls hit on you all the time. He's like, no, I never get compliments, nothing. I'm sure every other girl is probably thinking like me. So I'm like, well, why bother talking to him? He probably has a girlfriend. He's probably talks to tons of girls all night. When in reality, it's just like, that's not even the case. But I'm trying to think where I was going with. Yeah, it is intimidating to like, that factor of like dating outside your race and all that. But, like the very few like white men that I have dated, one, he was like Brazilian, but he was like white Brazilian. Like it, I'm not saying like, I feel like this is a dumbass word, but I feel like these white men were already kind of like woke. So they were, like, I didn't have to really go through the process of waking them. They weren't like, I don't see color motherfuckers, like they have like a good idea of like what's going on, and they understand, like systemic racism and things of that nature. And, you can kind of like just sort of joke around and things like that. But you know, it's like I still it's like like they were obviously aware that I am Black, but that wasn't like my main thing. Like it was like they weren't with me because of like to like because they fetishized Black women. Like it was more so like they just I'm an attractive woman. They probably would have just saw me as an attractive woman if we were just out in a party, but they probably would have been intimidated to talk to me, if we were just like at a party, or they probably would be like, "Oh, she's not into me. This is like if I were to come up to them, they'd probably be like, "This is what is this like a sick joke? Who put you up to this?" like, but like from my experience, like the positives of like from dating outside my race, I always feel like it's sort of, and if it's not for a fetish reason, it's sort of like they kind of see Elle first. It's like Elle, who is a Black woman, not this Black woman who's like into anime and video games and blah blah blah. It's just like named Elle. Like if that, like when it comes to dating Black men, it's like, okay, she is a Black woman named Elle rather than Elle who is a Black woman. If that makes sense. Like they sort of see me like individual. It's like, yeah, you recognize that I'm a Black woman. Of course, you're not blind. You're not colorblind, but they're like they're like, it's like, oh, this is like a hot chick or whatever. And it's like I want to get to know her, rather than like she's into anime, she's into video games, she's Black, she will understand a lot of things. However, you're kind of like, I felt like Black men kind of put the whole finding out who she is individually kind of off to the side. It's like, all right, she needs to kind of fit into my world rather than let us kind of grow and kind of create our own world. I guess that's sort of it.
Okay.
Yeah. From my experience, of course, is that with every Black man? No, hell no, not even close. But that tends to happen more. Maybe because I just tend to date more Black men. But yeah.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a lot to say on this topic. Well, I guess like there's been interest, like in terms of being attracted to people from other races, both ways, like me being attracted to other people outside of my race, and then people who've been attracted to me. Especially like in this area where I live in, there's like a lot of it's very diverse. I mean, there's a lot of Black African people, but then there's like Dominican or other type of Spanish, and like, I can't say I've formally dated, but like, you definitely have interest, flirting, whatever. And it didn't feel like too unnatural, like, oh, I'm fetishizing this person because they're for this, like, like Asian sensation, yellow fever, Spanish mommy. Like, it wasn't really any of that. It was just like, okay, you kind of vibe with someone, regardless of the race. And it is very interesting because sometimes you wonder, like, how do they see you, right? And it just kind of is like, it's kind of like the fundamentalness, the fundamental humanity that we kind of all have, and you sort of can see each other's soul, or however you want to describe it. Something, common interest. There's something that makes you interested or like unites you beyond some of these. That's why like it's interesting when it comes to like black people meet and all these apps. I feel like there might be a bit of pressure where it's like, okay, I'm this Black person and I need to show that I'm really Black and that they're gonna like how Black I am. Like I remember you one time, it was a while ago, but you said something about like maybe there's an app about like my Black king, my Black queen. And I think it's something like, I don't think I would want to date someone who like always refers to me as like queen, because it's like that's a lot of to live up to. Like, what exactly is it that I'm offering as like this king or like this Black person? Like, obviously I'm Black, just like you're Black, and you experience things being a Black person, Black female, Black male. But I think sometimes it is nice, like if you like just meet someone outside of your race, it can be very interesting. You learn something different. I mean, not to say that we're not diverse in ourselves, because you definitely have many, many diverse experiences within Black people, but it's just interesting sometimes, just like how like I don't know, it's almost like a neutral ground. Like we're both from a different background completely, and we really are just like connecting over God knows what. I don't have to kind of worry about too much about a preconceived notion of what you would expect from a Black person, and from your own background, right? Like I've been attracted to all types of people, even within Black people, because that in itself is like a whole conversation, right? The diaspora, immigrant parents, kind of like how you and L, you and me, L, have, or whether you're Black American, sort of like that foundational Black American where you can trace way back, and then being an actual immigrant, and then you have like Afro Cubano, Afro Latino, like there's so many different experiences within the Black sort of community and diaspora, but and I've had, I guess, interest in people from all over, like Black American, other Africans, people who are immigrants, people who have sort of like maybe in first generation. But I think sometimes like there is that expectation, and I think actually I may have mentioned this even on one of the earlier streams in the month, where it's like, oh, you're Nigerian, man, you should know how to cook, right? Oh, you don't. All right, trash. Like that exact word, not exactly like that, but it's like, oh, I would expect this thing from you because you're this, and that can be a lot of pressure. Or
Right.
how's their family going to see you too? Like if you don't live up to a certain expectation, like,
Right.
but
And you're speaking of like if a Nigerian woman were to talk to you like that. Is that what you're saying?
it could be any African. Based on
right.
some comments, not necessarily people who I was attempting to date, but just kind of like, oh, you're African, but you know, like he's like, what do you know how to cook? Because like I don't know, some people really, really like are deeper in the culture in different ways, and they've had a lot more upbringing in it. Versus I wasn't necessarily taught traditionally certain things, and so I would have a bit of a disconnect, of course, with Nigerian people, even like other people across the continent. Sometimes that can be a lot to navigate. And it's interesting because I've seen like whether it's friends or people I knew in real life where they were like Nigerian, like very much like born and raised, went to college, maybe came here for undergrad or grad school, and then they married a white person, or maybe they could have married a Black American, or it could have been someone in a completely different race. And I don't know if that was intentional on their parts, but even when you're like not even just here, where okay, we're all raised in the U.S., so regardless of the race, we all kind of have the same, not the same upbringing, but we're in the same country. But then even people from all around the world who like have married and met, that's very interesting too. Like, there's hope for anyone that like you could be an immigrant here and be another immigrant or American here. And it's just like, a beautiful relationship. So from my own personal experience, I feel like similar to you though. Yeah, I do get attracted to, especially like on Instagram. Let's go back to that comment about Instagram is buffet Instagram is like a dating app, and it's sort of like, yeah, maybe when I like notice people on Instagram, yeah, like if I see a Black person, Black woman, maybe she's like, you can kind of tell like there's certain features or characteristics, especially like if you think like they might kind of have the Black nerd aspect, or I don't know, there's like different things, or maybe like a little bit of the quirkiness. And sometimes like you can see that and be like, oh, okay, this person seems interesting. I'm not about to like really slide in, but like you kind of like there's like that first attraction that often does happen with Black people. So I'm not saying that I'm like not dating Black women, or I wouldn't date Black women. Yeah, it's really not like that at all. But I think it's just sometimes I get my own head about like what are the expectations that people are expecting from you. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe it really is just they're another person too who just happens to connect with you, not because of what they're expecting, but it might just be or if you're in the community a lot. I mean, South Florida, I know, is very diverse, but like depending on the communities that you're in, you just might be around a lot more Black people, and so therefore you're going to date a lot of them more. Like in college, it was a very diverse friend group that I had. I actually had a lot of Indian friends, like a lot of Indian friends. And so I think there was a point where I was attracted a lot to Indian women, because it was, but I had mostly good guy friends, but then there were like also my female friends or like just people from other races too. It was kind of all over the place. But I feel like whenever I was involved with someone to any degree, it was like African, Black, American, maybe Caribbean American. Like usually there was definitely some immigrant connection, but oftentimes we were both like American, born here, or at least raised here. And so I feel like that has often been the people who I've had like some connection with. They probably were Black. If they weren't Black, they may have been Spanish. Not often, but sometimes. And like I've been attracted to white people, but I feel like I don't interact with white women as much these days. Not really. Or at least not in as much of a context as I used to. So I think just naturally ends up being Black,
Right.
African, Caribbean, maybe some Spanish. I don't really see as many Asian women as I used to overall. So anyway, kind of all over the place, but just recounting my, I guess, experience or how I kind of process when it comes to interracial relationships, or in my case, just like sort of people who I've found maybe attractive or been involved with in some way. But
No, I definitely hear you. You know, especially like when you're starting to think, you know, like they might have like these expectations of you and they actually may not, you know, it's like, but I think it's like, I feel like it's like though, like if I'm like talking to a Jamaican man, because like I'm Jamaican and I, you know, grew up around Jamaicans, of course, it's like I can recognize the bullshit easier. But it's like, is this like bullshit I'm willing to deal with? Like, you know, I'd say like my biggest like hang up or like, you know, kind of like fear of like, if I were to, that I'm most likely going to like run into if dating like a Black man would be like the whole gender roles thing and trying to like kind of be fit into his world and be molded into his world rather than us trying to create a world together. And I feel like when it comes to like dating like outside of my race, especially like more so like a white man, it would just be like the whole like having to like correct things and, you know, having to deal with certain things and wonder if these certain things are like okay or whatever. Like, you know, like this one white guy, you know, like after we finished eating, he was just like, oh, you know, I'm feeling sleepy, I have the itis. Now, 10 years ago, the itis was just the itis to me. But, you know, maybe like I learned maybe like 3-4 years ago, or maybe even longer, I don't know, like I found out what itis was short for. And so it's kind of like is it it's like I don't want to be like the whole like word police, thought police sort of thing where it's like, is he allowed to say itis? Is that really bad? Is that like saying it with the A and not the ER? You know, kind of like equivalence. Like, is this okay? Is this not okay? It's like, well, he didn't say the full word. So it's like, well, like nobody really knows the full word. You know, it's like I wish I never learned the full word. I wish I just lived in that fucking ignorance too. But like, it's just like, should I? Like should I?
Told me that word.
And like, and I explained it to him. I was like, it's actually short for this. He was like, oh, okay. But like, you know, like he probably felt bad. He's like, I learned it from like my white friend, and people just say that. You know, it's like I get that. I get that because it's like. You know, it's like you know, like the gay slur like FAG. Like I didn't know like initially that had to do anything with you know LGBTQ people at first. You know, so you know you're just saying it like it's whatever, and then you find out, and it's like now you're just like, oh. That's what I was like, I didn't know. I thought it was just like, you know, like just calling someone like, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, I won't say that word anymore. Like, I didn't know. Cositis.
Yeah. I feel like I've definitely seen that before, but like it didn't, like off the top of my head, if I hear the itis, I don't think of the whole thing because it's not something I really formally learned. It just kind of has come up randomly on the internet, and now I'm like, oh shoot.
Right. Yeah. Now it's like, how much do I need to care about this now? Like, I wish I just didn't have to care about this. Like, I wish it was like when he said it, I wish I wasn't like, like a little startled because like, oh shit. Yeah, that's true. Because you never know. He might say it around like the wrong person. Like, you might just be like talking to one of his black coworkers, like, oh, I got the itis. And like,
Bruh.
which, like a lot of people learn from watching the Boondocks. But it's like, okay, it's whatever. Like, well, a lot of white people learn from, but like, it's like, all right, it's whatever. But then like, he probably just didn't like, he didn't know. Cause like how could he, like, I mean, but it kind of makes me feel as though like what either the black people he hangs out with is, are cool with it, or he probably it maybe just never have come up in conversation, or they probably just didn't say anything, or maybe he doesn't really have black friends. Maybe I'm his only black friend. I don't know. So like, so it's like, okay, I have to teach him about this. Well, I guess he can go and teach other white people if he does, or I don't know. But no, Chad does have a good point. Like we do have to, there's, you're learning from each other and teaching each other certain things. That's true. That's just sort of like what kind of goes for it. Like, and I feel as though because they both have the racial like privilege and also the gender privilege as well in this country because of like we're in like a white supremacist patriarchal society. I feel as though they have to like unlearn a lot more about certain things, so it kind of just gets like thrown into both. It's like, oh, not only not only like was my like racial biases fucking stupid and ignorant as hell because like for XYZ, because of the fucking society we live in, but it's like my gender biases, my sexism was there all along too. Like they were probably found themselves interrupting women when they were talking and not even realizing, and like or just like just tuning out when like girls would talk because like I don't know, they just felt like they could, or whatever it is. So it's like they probably like are noticing things more. So I feel like I've been like kind of noticing that. I feel like though, like I feel like I'm just sitting here comparing white men to black men. That's kind of all I've dated. But like I feel as though like black men, they're trying to, like they deal with like the racism aspect, but the patriarchal aspect they don't quite deal with as much. So it's not really it's not their battle to be fighting. Not like it is their battle to be fighting still, in my opinion. However, it's not like their immediate battle. Their immediate battle is more so racism. Their immediate battle is like, how can I get paid more? How can I not be discriminated against? How can I live to see another day? If I get pulled, I was like, yeah, of course, I understand that. Newsflash, I'm dealing with that shit too. Like, like black women are, get killed and shit gets swept under the rug as well. Like, I don't know if it's more so, but like in very disgusting, tragic, I can't believe this is fucking happening, but I also can believe it's fucking happening ways. Like with the whole, it's like this, a quick example is the whole R. Kelly thing. That happened like early 2000s, like you found out that he married Aaliyah when she was underage, and then that nothing really came of that. Just got swept under the rug. And Aaliyah was like probably one of the top pop stars or R&B singers in the nation at the time. And unfortunately, of course, like she died in like was it like a helicopter crash, I think. And then R. Kelly just continued like it, but it was like it was known, you know, about him sleeping with underage girls and like peeing on that girl or whatever, and like that whole fucking tape. And he still made music after that. Like, why the fuck wasn't that fucking handled? Like, and it, like, you know, I mean, of course, like, I was, you know, like this was like pre, like really big, you know, like how internet is now, and you know, and like, of course, like we were probably like not even teens yet at that time when, like, when that P tape that P tape happened. However, nothing really came of it. I like did was he arrested? Did he like do community service? Like what? It's just like nothing really happened, and it was like all on tape, and but he was still able to come back from that and make music.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that case. I remember
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah,
it
and
was,
Chad makes an excellent point. So that was the Chappelle special bit too. It was known. It was known.
yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
You got a point.
I mean, if you view it like that, but I think that's, and also Aaliyah had the whole song "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number," but like, you know, we're also have to think about how like Black women are hypersexualized, especially like as young girls. You know, they're always perceived to be older and, you know, like just more hypersexualized and perceived as such, which is fucking terrible. Because just recently, it's sad that I don't remember her name. Like Lauren Smith Fields, I believe, who was found, like, she was a 23-year-old Black girl who went on a date with a white man she met on Bumble who was like 37 or so, and they were trying, and like, this is very recent. This was just happened like a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so she was found dead in her apartment. The last person to see her was like this 37-year-old white man who, you know, it seems as though he may have like drugged and killed her. There was like a used condom in the trash. Like there was like some stuff, but like the police didn't really question him because he seemed nice. Like that's it. Like, and, you know, like news is trying to depict her. Like they showed like a really, like she was like it was like a picture of him like on a hike next to her, like, you know, like side by side photos, like not them together, but like two separate pictures of them. Like it was him in like hiking gear, and then a picture of her in a bikini. And it's like you could, like, out of all the pictures that she must fucking have, you couldn't find anything better. And then like now they start showing better pictures of her. Like, you know, it's just like it's the narrative building. It's like how the media wants you to perceive them. It's like, oh, you know, she was just trying to have sex with him and blah blah blah. I was like, even if they were to just like have like a casual romp, what's wrong with that? She shouldn't have to die in the end. Yeah. And then you shouldn't just be like, oh well, whatever, it happens. Like I'm not going to bother. The police weren't going to bother questioning the man because he just seemed nice. Like he could just get away with that. Like, so they had like, so like social media had to like blow this shit up again for them to like do a reinvestigation. And I don't know where they're at with that yet, but like that kind of shit does happen a lot, and it just gets swept under the rug, and it just becomes like a nothing story. Like if it didn't get blown up, we wouldn't have heard of it. And it just goes to show like how many of these sorts of things that we just don't hear about. But like, and of course, like this happens with like Black men as well. I'm not saying that, you know, at all. But it's just like, you know, like it's just really scary to think that like I could just go on a date with a white man and die, and there would just be like no repercussions. Like, does my life really just not matter? You know, like, what's the fucking point if it's just like I'm not gonna there's not going to be any justice. They're going to be like, well, she got an F in calculus honors back in high school, so she must have not been that good of a person. And like, you know, it's like she has student loan debt. Like
Right.
so she's not good with her finances, and like she curses a lot on her podcast. You know, like she has a dirty like who the fuck knows what kind of shit they're gonna pull up. Like, but it's a thought that I have. It's a thought that I genuinely have, and I'm sure you guys also have it too. It's a sad ass fucking morbid thought. It's like, what the hell are they gonna pull up on me? What are they gonna say? What are they gonna do? You know, like, because they're gonna be out here trying to make us look bad when we're just out here just trying to live day to day and just trying to make ends meet and just trying to, you know, just trying to live our lives. But they're gonna try to make us look bad.
Flew it out. Like she's
Yeah.
IG mom.
Yeah, that comment there. That comment
Exactly.
there.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Elle,
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, she's 10, and of course she's in the 5th grade,
Okay.
but she looks like she could be going. She looks like she's either in middle school, meaning 7th, 8th grade, or about to go into high school, or already a high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just developed like that. And I'm like, that's scary to think about how men might try to hit on her and be like, you know, no, that's not right. She's only 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's only 10.
Right.
And you have no business talking to her. And even my nieces, one of them, she's also 10. The other one, she's in middle school now, but she looks like she belongs in high school, like very much so. It is like, no, she's only 12. You know, she's only 12. She's not in middle school. She's only 12. And I talked to my brother about it. And he was like, man, he was like, listen, he was like, I might have to buy another gun just due to the fact that if some weirdo tries to hit on my daughter, you know, I'm gonna end up going to jail. You know, and it's like, and I get it. Like, yes, I definitely get it. Definitely get it. And a lot of times when we're going out to like family functions and whatnot, a lot of people ask her how old she is. Like, oh, she's only this age, and it kind of look like, wait, she's how old? Yeah, she's only this age. You know, she's only in this grade. She's not going up. She's not older. She's just this. And like, yeah, you might want to make sure if she goes anywhere, keep a close eye on her because she could very well snatch her up. Like, I know I have to because of the fact that yes, she's smart, but she also has a little ditziness about her too as well, which is like, please don't.
Because she was 10.
Yeah.
You know, like that sounds like her being a kid.
It's
like oh, I get that. When I was 12, you know, guys would always think I was 18. Because I developed fast too. Maybe I just developed on time and like y'all are fucking calling it fast because you just want to sexualize me immediately.
Right.
But like this is why we also need to like teach our sons like everything. Teach of course teach everybody everything. Like definitely ingrain it into sons where it's like, yeah, if like let's say you're, 18 and the girl says that she's 10, even if she's lying, fucking believe her, but also understand what it means to be 10. Not like a girl 10 where it's like, oh, because we developed physically faster, we're still 10 fucking years old.
Yes.
Like You know, sometimes I think about, you know, how I was when I was like a kid, you know, like even not even a kid, sometimes even when I'm like 18, 19. You know, like my niece is in college. She's you know, going to be turning 19 next month. And I'm just like, you know, I've seen her grow up my, you know, her whole life and I'm just like, man. It's like, and I feel like everybody has like that same thought when they see somebody like who's like 18. You're like, you always have the same thought, which was, I was so much more mature back then than them.
Mhm.
But were you really? Like, you might have been exposed to a lot more things, like a lot of graphic, terrible things that, you know, like, you know, especially if you grew up in like a very like, you know, like a not ideal household or a very, you know, like a broken household or anything. So you were probably exposed to a lot of things, but you couldn't process it the way that you can when you're older, when you like when you think back.
Mm-hmm. What's your name?
Yeah, that's.
Reggie?
He was like, "How old are you?" 60. He's like, "You look 30."
Yes.
But it's just true. Like, yeah, you do have to like grow these because you also don't know how people are raising their sons.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of dads are still just being like, "Don't get anybody pregnant," and then that's it. That's the end of parenting. And it's like, no, there's a lot more to that. Like, also, you know, let them know. Like, you know, you also have to understand this, and that, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, like, but. Yeah.
Fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's that's that part. That part.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I'm realizing now because like I was that young kid who was very mature for her age. Who was very mature for her age, very you know, like always being told that. And I don't know if it was like because I was just intelligent, because I could speak well, I could hold a conversation, or you know, I guess maybe how I carried myself because I wasn't, I don't know, jumping up and down and being whatever the fuck you perceive as a kid, you know, like a 15-year-old or like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, you know, it's like, it's scary, but you also have to understand that, you know, that, yeah, there are a lot of young, smart people. There are a
Oh
lot of young,
yeah.
smart people. Um, so I live near Parkland. So when the Stoneman Douglas shooting happened and like some of the students were, you know, were speaking about it and talking about it, a lot of people would be like, wow, these kids are like so, they're so mature, like they're so intelligent, like they just couldn't believe that. But from growing up around here and being from like the school system, I was just like, I was like that when I was their age. Like, that's not surprising to me. Like, they're in school every day, they're learning shit every day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in honors and AP classes, like you know, you're reading, you're learning a lot, and like, you know, even when I look at old Facebook statuses from like right when I went into college, like my grammar is so much better back then than it is now because I'm not reading and writing as much as I was. So you kind of just in a way like lose that, or you just stop caring as much. I guess back then you probably cared a little bit more. Now it's just now you kind of don't as much anymore. So it didn't really surprise me because I'm like, yeah, that's how I spoke. Like that, yeah, you know, they're smart kids, but there were still aspects of like when they were being interviewed and talking. I'm like, yeah, they're still kids though. Like that's yeah, like how they're explaining things is like a kid because they're a kid. Like they're saying smart things and explaining why they're smart in a kid way. Like, but,
A
yeah,
kid can be a kid.
yeah. And kids do need to be kids and feel comfortable around being kids, and adults need to do their fucking part in understanding. Like, don't fucking take advantage of that. You know, you have to understand. It's like, yeah, they're still a kid. There's gonna be some kid bullshit, like because it's inevitable, and allow them to do their kid thing because they are kids.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I'm going to drop in the chat something very informational.
Yeah, I had posted this because I'd seen like viral videos on this like a year ago maybe about like these consent classes, very interactive to kind of teach that like no means no, like to young boys really. And this was in Kenya, but I'm sure that I looked up consent classes and I think they're happening elsewhere too. Let's see, this is the Independent UK. Oh, I can't see the article. Not the one I shared, but another one. So I was trying to see where this one was supposed to be, but I can't really see it.
Yes, agree. I agree. I agree. Let kids have their childhood. Definitely. Definitely. And the reason I would say that too is because, again, going back to my daughter and whatnot, it's hard to find her clothes that are not showing off her body, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
And again, you know, a lot of the clothes that we were looking at, even she was looking at, she's like, I don't like that. I don't like to have my belly being shown, or I don't like to have my pants feeling too tight, or I don't like to have my shirts feeling too tight, which is a good thing. I like the way how she speaks up about it. But even then, just looking at the models and whatnot, she's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to wear that, you know. And it's like, thank you. But even then, it's like, well, that's like 95% of the store pretty much gone. And so the only 5% that you're left with is something that you probably won't wear, but at the same time, you may not equally like it as well. You know, so having her to try on different outfits, see what works and whatnot, different types of clothes, see what works and whatnot, is like, okay, this is what we're gonna have to deal with. This is what you're gonna have to wear. So you're just gonna have to let us know what works for you. And so she does do a very good job of finding clothes that she likes to wear, but also at the same time doesn't show off a whole lot more than what it needs to be, because again, she's only 10. You know, and it's like, even then, some of the girls that are 10, a lot of the clothes they're wearing, I'm like, how in the world are you walking out the house looking like this? Like, no, you couldn't be my child doing that. Nah, I would have told you to go back inside and get changed. Like, you're not wearing that. No.
The thing is, like,
yeah.
So like that's what makes it hard, because it's, you know, like having her cover herself, like not your daughter, but like having, you know, like young girls cover themselves up, you know, are also like teaching them that like their bodies are pretty much just to be preyed on, you know. And like, of course we don't live in like a perfect society, but it's like at the same time, it's like that fine line of being free and not afraid, but also being like mindful and cautious of certain things. Like it's hard because, you know, in a way, like, and I understand, like, you're a whole ass adult, a father, and like, you know how other people are most likely viewing this young girl. And like, it just, you know, it's just sort of sad because like that's in a way kind of taking the childhood away from her. But it's like, is this a life lesson that she needs to learn? Yes. Does she feel comfortable and okay in those clothes though? You know, like, should she not be comfortable and okay in those clothes? Like, you know, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, ideally we should all dress how we feel comfortable. And but you know, reality, like, we can't. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of girls who would love to just go for a walk out at night shirtless, completely topless. That's probably like their total comfort. I'm sure there's a lot of women rather, who go home after work and probably just completely strip naked. I know for a fact there's a lot of men who go home after work and completely strip naked, or like after school or whatever. Like they will tell me or whatever. But like if that's their comfort, it's like who's to say? So like, and of course it's like, yeah, it's in your comfort and the sanctity of your own home. But there's also a lot of men who are totally comfortable going out for a jog shirtless.
Oh yeah.
Like, but I know how that looks to me, but like, I'm not gonna, like, boys have that privilege of just being able to be shirtless from birth till death, and like nobody questions it at all, like nothing. Like I was at the beach the other day and like, yeah, I've seen like some, like some man boobs on some men, and some of them are bigger than women's, but the women can't be shirtless, So, but it's like, what, because like we sexualize this, it just becomes like a weird thing. Geez, I'm trying to remember what I said like about what we don't. Oh, about shirtless men we don't question. True, like I guess like we kind of do, but like the fact that they have the freedom to do that, the fact that some of these men are comfortable being shirtless, like going out for a run, or like they're totally comfortable doing that. Like that's a privilege that I just don't have. I've never been like just shirtless in public though. But like I never have. That's just something I just don't have the privilege of doing. Maybe if I like go to New Orleans or something, but like but still like so yeah, it's just like the whole like balance of maybe she does feel comfortable in those clothes. Like you might be like, oh, she's probably just trying to impress a boy at school, and she might be. Like that might be the case. But she might like just legitimately feel totally comfortable like wearing those clothes though. But I don't know, like it's hard because like a part of me is kind of like a little, I don't want to say envious, but it's like I get it. It's like if you feel comfortable wearing that, like I wish I was back then. But at the same time, it's like I knew I couldn't because of just how men would look at me. But it's like, but it's such a fucking annoying way to live though. It's like the moment I leave the house, I have to fucking care about what these hypothetical men think. Like, it's like, but like men, and I was telling Toby this, like, because Toby shared something with me on Instagram like a month or so ago about, like, I guess like objectification of women, of like, primarily those in like the music industry, and it's like, oh, these Black women shouldn't be dressing scantily clad, especially when like the music industry is owned by white men. Like these women are doing this, these Black women are doing this, like promoting like this sexual objectification. Toby accidentally sent me like the wrong slide, so like I had like my own opinion on it, but like what he sent me was a valid point. But it was like what he sent me was like, oh, these Black women shouldn't be shaking their ass and showing off everything or blah blah blah. It's like, well, they can fucking do whatever the hell they want. But and I told Toby, I was like, men have the privilege of walking around with their face all open, not covering their face at all, because they're never really thinking about, they're never like under like the fear of like what women are thinking about if they just want to ride their face. Like that's never a thought. We think about that.
Let me cover my face so I'm PG for the stream.
Exactly. How dare you just show off your open face like that?
Lest my face be written in the imagination of women watching this stream.
Exactly. Well, that's
okay.
but That's what it's like to be like a woman. It's like if I'm wearing like a shirt that has like, it has like that shows a lot of cleavage. Like, okay, yeah, I understand, but I feel like I look hot too. It's like, yeah, I might attract some guys, but I'm also feeling like I look hot. It's like that balance, but going on with a burqa next street. Just wear like a veil of some kind, or just come on with a mask. But like, yeah, now men are just out here like, I'm not gonna wear a mask. Like, you should put on a mask. Like you don't know. It's like that was there was no COVID. It was just to keep women's urges at bay.
Yes.
We can't control ourselves sometimes.
My God.
Masks were really the godsend. I was able to walk around with a mask on without the fear of people. Well, I'll keep it PG. Without people throwing certain clothing at me that would imply that they wanted me. I'm just dodging, bobbing and weaving, dodging these thermal leggings.
Thermal legging.
I gotta wear the mask to keep them at bay. Oh God.
Like,
My head hurts.
Ron's like, this is... Sorry, I'm in Massachusetts. Well, you're in Michigan too. You should get it.
Yeah, I got it. I barely got it. I'm like, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it is incredibly annoying and also a little scary about like, oh, I look good, I feel sexy, but like, I have to always have something left for the imagination because of like this hypothetical man that might be out there who might be like, wow, she's leaving nothing to the imagination. I need to care about this motherfucker. Like it's like, now I have to dress like this because of this person. But no, like I understand like where you're coming from, Ron. Like I for sure do. I'm not trying to, and it's good that your daughter's, dressing how she wants to dress, because like I hated like really tight clothes. Oh my goodness, I remember there was like this light blue Rocawear shirt that I would. Like, I liked it because it was Rocawear. You're like in middle school and you just think name brands are everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I hated wearing it because it was just so tight. And like, I had 2 Rocawear shirts and they were both tight. When I think about it. But like, I just like hated wearing it, but I would still wear it though. Cause like, I guess you kind of feel good in the name brand, but a lot of these name brands are just sort of, and I think about it like kind of like sexy. Like I'm sure like apple bottom jeans or baby fat back in the day. Like apple bottom is, for an apple bottom when you have like, like the nice shapely ass, like an apple. That's why it's freaking called that. Baby fat was like, and a lot of clothes would have like the stuff on the ass, like the like glitter just to kind of like point your eyes to that. But like I didn't really like know and understand until maybe like as naive as this may sound, was like college. It was just like that was just a design. I didn't know it was really to just bring your eyes to somebody's ass. Like, it was just like, oh, that's the design. And same thing with like sorority like shorts. Like they were usually pretty short and they had like the sorority letters on the ass. It's like, oh yeah, I guess that's the point. Bring your eyes to the ass. Like it makes perfect sense. But it's just like when you're a kid, when you're in middle school, you're not really like thinking like that. Well, at least I wasn't. I guess I was just naive in that aspect. But I'm sure there was a lot of, young girls who weren't. And they wanted that attention, which is fine. But like, I guess it's like, I guess it's like it's okay to want the attention, but you have to understand the consequences of it. And also men have to understand just because she may want the attention doesn't necessarily mean how you're going to give her the attention is right.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Except that like some kind of common sense and like decency.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she could want the attention from you, but like, it's not like, oh, she doesn't want the attention from you, so don't talk to her. It's like, no, she could want the attention from you, but she still kind of wants to be like respected and not just be seen as like a piece of ass meat.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy if you like your entire body was just a piece of. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Carry on.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Honestly,
You're good.
I'm gonna stop that.
You're good. In mind you, the reason why I brought that up in
Right.
beginning with is just due to the fact that, case in point, my city has a bunch of sex offenders.
Oh.
Okay.
My city has a bunch of sex offenders.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a lot of them, surprisingly or not, live close to where the majority of the students that I see, they live within the vicinity. They may not be able to live next to the school per se, but they can still live within a certain radius of any household that has a child. And so again, going back to the initial statement is like understanding that, again, yes, I get it. You have these girls, women, who, of course, if they feel good in what they're wearing, go for it and everything else. But you still got these sick, twisted men that's out there in the world that they would not hesitate. They would not hesitate. No ifs, ands, buts about it. They would not hesitate to make the attempt to, needless to say, snatch them up.
Yeah.
And even then, always tell my daughter, like, hey, if you see anybody suspicious that's looking at you, if you're close by, you make a run to the household flat out. If I'm not here, you go to this person's house. If they're not there, you go to this person's house. Make sure you keep your cell phone with you at all times, because if something happens and I'm not around, you need to know how to call somebody, call 911, do what you need to do to get safe. Because again, the sick and twistedness that we're living in now is very much real. And then it could happen in the blink of an eye. And even then, understanding that, yes, you are your own individual person and you have your own individual likes. You are your own individual. And again, respect you as such and treat you as such. Just make sure you do what you need to do to protect yourself at the end of the day. Because again, just as much as I would like to see you live to the next day, you need to make sure you want to live to see the next day as well. And not come up missing because of some weirdo just being weird. And even then, I got to tell some of my students, like, hey, just stop being weird. Just stop being weird. I understand you're trying to be funny and everything else, but just stop it, because you're not helping yourself at all at any point in time. They kind of sit there and think about it like, okay, Mr. Marzette, I get what you're saying. Like, it's okay. You're having fun. You're goofing off. Okay, be a kid. Be a kid as long as you can, because when you become an adult, all of that stuff, gone. But at the end of the day, just learn and understand that what you do now basically is going to dictate what you're going to do in the future. So if you want to get all your fun and party and everything else done out the way, go for it. I've done that myself, and I don't bat an eye about it. But at the same time, it's like, just understand that, yeah, you're going to be an adult one day, and you're going to have to learn how to make some tough choices. But just as of right now, be a kid. Just have fun. Be a kid, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think Liz said, enjoy your childhood. Be a kid. Be a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just, and again, it is sad to bring this up, especially on a topic like this, because it happens too much, too often. Happens too much, too often. And so, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. It was something that I remembered. When it came to like the borderline age thing was like really creepy. I'm trying to remember who brought that up earlier, but
I think it was Chad.
yeah, probably figured it was
Yeah,
Chad. And I remember when Danielle Rigoli, Cash Me Outside,
yeah,
I mean, what was her Little Bad Baby is her stage name. So like she turned 18 probably like last year, or something. And then there was like a whole rush of like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Probably like a bunch of memes about like, guess like sexual whatever, or I'm about to like jack up. Like there's just a lot of people like
Yeah.
you realize that this person wasn't even legal until like just now, and like it was just like I think a lot of, like I just remember seeing it on Twitter like the whole like Twitter thing where it's like y'all are really weird for like it was a guy thankfully who spoke up about this like y'all are really weird for like wanting to like think about all these things you're gonna do to her, and like you've been like people, because I think what one person tweeted was like they had the countdown because like her birthday is public information, so they had like a countdown, like a timer, a calendar. Yeah, it was like serious. Someone was like,
Holy
I have a countdown for the day that she turns 18, and there was a bunch of people I guess who were haha kikiing, but like it's like no, that's not like really okay. I mean, it's like, well, you don't even know this person anyway, so why are you so pressed to be like, now this person who I've been fantasizing since she was like 13 years old is finally 18, right? Because I'm like, she was really young when she was on the Dr. Phil segment, and people really were like looking at her as like a piece of meat even then, just waiting for her to become legal. I'm like, people,
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you,
people, y'all need some.
need something, because it's like, well, why? First of all, she just turned 18. And most 18-year-olds that I know of, they were still partying. They were still doing dumb stuff, making dumb decisions, and really not caring because they're 18. Is that to say that she has some 18-year-olds who were not making dumb decisions but making rather smart decisions? Certainly, certainly. Wanting to have a better education, wanting to have a better future. Yes, certainly. The ones that I know, they just didn't care. They're like, I'm 18, I just turned 18. I'm gonna party. I'm gonna live my life up. Blah 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 blah. Turn 21. I can do this, and this, and whatever. Now they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Man, what I learned now, I should have done back then, because that whole time when I turned 18 up until, let's say, 25, I blew it. And basically didn't do what I wanted to do when I had the chance to. And so now I almost kind of feel like I got to backtrack to make up some years in order for me to make sure that my later years are better, which is like, come on, you know? Oh, yeah. Yes. I agree with this statement. I agree. Because I remember when I was 18 and like looking at a 30-year-old, I'm like, man, you an old head. Like, you about as old as my mom, not knowing that my mom was what, 30, 37, 38 at the time, And so it was just weird to me. It was just weird being 18, looking at some 30-year-old and equating them to my mom.
Right. Yeah.
It was just really weird, really weird. So like, no. And then even now, I'm 33 and looking at the majority of these 18, 19-year-olds. I'm looking at them. I'm like, yeah, I don't don't see how people my age could go for somebody that young. Like I don't see it. I don't. To me, to me it's just a really weird feeling. It's just a really gross feeling. Like nah, like you just got started in the world. You know, you're basically just now becoming independent, and it's like nah, nah. Get some experience underneath your belt and whatnot. I'm not even going to talk to you after that, but even still, just grow up. Be able to make some decisions. If you make some bad ones, okay. Learn from them and just don't do them again. But still, it's just no.
I know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And that's like a real life convo I had too, with someone where it was like, he was like, would you imagine dating someone like X years younger than you, or like someone who just like was basically like college age, like living in a campus dorm? And I'm like, I'm 26, not for long, but I am 26, and I'm like 22 is not that far away from me, but it's still like a different like. I mean, that's definitely much like, okay, you're a few years into your 20s, but like 18, like that's an 8-year gap, right? So like not as drastic as Chad's, but like still not much more. It's like that's like 8 years, and like that's almost 10 years. Like whoa, it's crazy to think about, because like imagine like you're in high school, your high school age, you're 16, 17, 18. Hopefully like you're not demented. You would not think about like a 6-year-old, 8-year-old at all like that. So now that you're like 26, 28, are you now going to be like, oh, well, this person's 10 years older, 10 years younger than me? And like, obviously there's like age gaps, but at a certain age, it's like very fundamentally developed. There's a very fundamental differences in development. And so, yeah, that's not something I really want to touch with. Like, it's just like you're a different place in life. Like, we're all figuring things out, but let them like mature. And I think we talked about this term before about the whole idea of grooming, or at least I've talked about it with a friend, definitely, but like being groomed or trying to groom someone. So you like come, like, I remember a guy who was like, they posted something, it may have been like a tweet or an Instagram post where they were like, I'm trying to find someone younger than me because like a lot of like older women are stuck in their ways. I want to find like a young person who can like help me build my empire, help me build my kingdom. I think is what he said. And just like being dragged by like a bunch of, because it was like a black guy who said this, and it's like a bunch of black women, especially in the comments. Yeah, and it's just like, oh man. So you're just trying to like kind of like mold these people in your image or in your way that they're going to be like some kind of compliant. I don't know. It's different. That reminds me of another post. If I could find it, I'll have to share it.
I can like, I feel like definitely going through life, you also have to realize like your powers and privileges. And one, I guess, power or privilege that we don't really go into depth of talking about, I guess, is like just being older. Like we always say like, oh, they're young, you're older, you should know better. But it's like, what is it like what is it that we know, and how are we capable of grooming this person? Like, and like when you like when you sort of like think about it, it's like, oh, okay, like, when you're 18, you're fucking stupid as hell. Like, just, yeah, I could vote and buy cigarettes. I still think you can do that. I don't know. I think something about like vaping, even cigarettes.
Yeah, they changed. Most states now is 21.
Holy shit!
Most states, if it's not a federal law yet, I could be wrong, but most states you got to be 21 to buy a pack of cigarettes and a drink. I know here in Michigan, yeah, you got to be 21.
That's actually really bad, because if you think about it, because that can also even like help with the grooming process more. It's like, oh, I'm older, I can buy alcohol, I can buy cigarettes, blah, blah. Like if you if you think about it, it's like, okay, this person probably still lives at home with their parents. And like they started messing around with like an older woman, like hypothetically, and it's like this older woman has like her own place or what have you, and then like you're gonna go over there because you're a stupid idiot 18-year-old, like, and this person, who you find attractive, or is just giving you attention, it's giving you a different kind of attention, and it's like, oh wow, this person sees me. It's like, well, you've only been exposed to like 17 people because you're 18. So like, you're nowhere in life yet. But like, I guess we should be, definitely teaching fresh out the gate adults how to recognize, and also not even just fresh out the gate adults, but also definitely like teenagers, young folks, like what older people will do that could, make you believe that this person sees you differently. That's how they get like the whole sex trafficking thing and like pedophilia thing as well, as because that's also just like with grooming, making you feel special, and that also goes on to, it's like, yeah, like this person isn't a minor anymore. However, they're still using like similar or the same kinds of tactics to like groom you and mold you to make you trust this person when they're really just trying to manipulate you and just try to turn you into, someone that you're probably not, or most likely not, or not, yeah. I think, like, if that makes sense. It's like, there's never really been like a drastically older guy who, like, do you guys think it's getting better or just different? I want to say it's getting better. I think it's definitely just getting different. Oh, Liz, when you turned 19, they changed buying alcohol to 21. Yeah, I heard that you, like, back in the day it was 19 and they changed it to 21. A lot of people were very sad that day. Should have stayed 19, I think. Or just 19, like, I think it should be 18. Everything should just be 18, but I think 19 is fair. It's like that, but 21, I feel like it's just like a lot, like it's older unnecessarily. It's just unnecessarily older.
Yeah, you have like a bit of a gap between like when you're 19, at least it's like you have less influence on the high school kids, which I think is what some people were worried about with 18. High school seniors could buy alcohol for their like underage friends, but then
that's what would happen.
What was that?
And that's what would happen. Or liquor stores just turned the other. Like there was this one liquor store where they just never checked ID, so people just go buy alcohol.
Yeah, I remember seeing some article or something about like alcohol, some idea that you should just like let it be 18, let people binge and get it out of their systems early versus wait until 21. I forgot what the exact. Like, this was a long time ago. It had to be when I was in high school reading this, like 2012 or even earlier. But I just kind of remembered that, and like I'm looking at this. FDA approved the minimum age. Yep, to 21.
Yeah. So that's across the board. That's everywhere.
That's insane. That also like fucks up a lot of sales. Like I hate like what you were just saying, Toby. Like it's better to just make it 18 just to get it out of their systems quicker, because like I went to Florida State and it was, if not the biggest party school in the nation, it's always like in the top 5 or so, top 10. I didn't know that at the time. That's not why I went there. But I started the summer and I was 17, and that was like the first time I got drunk, which was at like a club, because this guy was, I was dancing on this guy, and he had like the wristbands to get alcohol, so he bought me some drinks. Not the wisest thing, but I was an idiot, but the night was fun. Nothing happened, nothing even happened. Like, yeah, I got drunk and I went back to my dorm, and because I was also like taking care of my roommate who was also drunk. But I was trying to think, like, how did she even get drunk? But anyway, but that was like my first time. call me old fashioned but like I think you, especially if you're like you're 18 or so or 17, like I think the first time you get drunk should be like at home with at least around people that you trust, or like if you have like a healthy home, or if you have like a friend's house that's like a healthy friend's house. Like I remember there was a What Would You Do episode about like this one guy, like this one parent and child were like acting, being like, oh, you're, I don't know, I forgot. I guess the kid was like in high school, maybe 18 or so. It's like, we buy you some alcohol. It's like, it's time for you to get drunk, blah, blah. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that, honestly, because that's technically safe. Like, like if you just get drunk at home, you're safe. Not, ideally, of course. But I think that would be better. But by the, I was drinking throughout college, not like, not like every day or anything, but like at parties, there was always like beer or something. And then by the time I hit 21, it wasn't even like all that exciting. Like it was exciting, don't get me wrong. Like it was like fucking awesome, but like it wasn't like, okay, let me just binge drink now. And like there's a lot of people who wait until they're 21 and they start binge drinking.
21 shots.
Right. And then you're like, right, because if you drank before, you're not going to do that shit. Like, yeah, you might get like I got really drunk on my 21st. I'm not gonna, but I was like barely even doing anything. I was like with two of like my friends from work, two guys actually. My friend bought like a liter of Grey Goose, but we couldn't even like drink it together. It was just me and like my two guy friends, and then I'd barely ate because I was in college and we didn't have like food. Like had oatmeal. So, like, I got drunk as hell, ate the oatmeal, and then like threw that up, I think, and then like just went to bed. So that was my 21st. But like if it was like my first time drinking, it probably would have been a hell of a lot worse. Like it's like I knew what I was doing wrong because I was like hungry, but it was just like you're just drinking and having a good time. But after that, it wasn't even like that crazy. It wasn't like, all right, I'm gonna go and buy a fuck ton of liquor. It was just like I've already been doing this, and now I know what It's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna fuck up a couple of times or get like super drunk a couple of times, but now you don't. Like now, I just pretty much drink beer and wine exclusively because it's just easier to handle.
Yeah.
Occasionally, like I might have like shots of alcohol, or liquor rather, but it's only like maybe for parties or like special occasions. I don't really see myself. Even I have like this whole ass liquor cabinet has liquor in it. Like one of like my tequilas has been there since April last year.
What's the tequila?
Oh, it's actually a black-owned tequila company called Rebel. So I bought that last year. Then recently I bought the more expensive bottle because I don't really know why. Actually, I was like day drunk, but like I was like, but I think that was probably like the first time I bought something from being drunk. I'm usually like hella responsible. Like I'm not like I might tweet kind of like silly things, but I'm not like drunk. But I hadn't drank in a while, so that's why like my tolerance was a little, yeah. But,
a little shot.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Whew, moonshine. I'm not doing that one again either.
Yeah, I think I had maybe like one of those bottled moonshines where it's like clearly this is just like I bought it. It's like a liquor store, so I may have tasted that. I don't remember if we did actually, but I've never had any kind of like real none of that. No Everclear, no thank you to any of these like demon liquors.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to try like real absinthe, and I didn't. I should have, but maybe it was the right thing to do not to.
I did have a little, but it probably wasn't like the real like hallucinogen type absinthe, but I did have a little bit when I was in grad school. Very woody taste, like hard to explain, but in like this weird green drink. That was so fun. It was just me and my good friend Carlos. Like we were supposed to actually go watch Baby Driver. This was like 2017. We were supposed to walk to our movie campus, like the movie theater we had, and that on campus. And instead, we just like were at my place and we just like drink because there's like 3 showings usually. So we already knew we were gonna meet the first showing. So it's like, okay, we should probably walk to campus for the second one. Then it's like, okay, it's a bit late, so it's fine. Let's just keep talking and let's make the third one. The third one comes up and it's like, okay, we're just not watching Baby Driver today. But like, we just like had a little bit of absinthe, gin. Oh, I think it was Hendrick's gin. That one's also very distinct. I don't know. It's just kind of funny because like I didn't drink a lot. This could be a whole conversation in itself, but I didn't really drink a lot. I had a little wine when I was 16, so that was like my senior year of high school, like at home with my family. Mixed it with ginger ale. But in college, I think that little bit of wine saved me from been drinking in college because I didn't have the desire to really drink like that. But I had a few experiences in college, and I was young, so I didn't turn 21 until my senior year. So I was like, I know I'm not gonna be able to really like legally drink until a long time. I didn't really care to like illegally drink like that. But I remember in grad school, it was just kind of like, I didn't go crazy, but I was like more intentional about like, I'm going to try all these beers. I'm going to go downtown. I'm going to go to these bars, XYZ. So it's just kind of funny how things have evolved since then.
Yeah.
Now we're back to wine. Wine is the mood of 2022.
Man, I don't know. I think I might be a little bit different because I think when I turned 18, was it 18 or was it 20? No, it was 18. Yep, I remember I turned 18, 19. My brother, he bought me a 40 ounce, a steel reserve, 211. If anybody knows what that is, that's a harsh beer. And I remember drinking it, and I got to the point where I almost finished the bottle, almost did. And immediately I went into my grandmother's backyard, and I was just sitting there, and my wife at the time, oh yeah, Steel Reserve. Oh man, when I tell y'all, I was doubled over in the backyard. And the minute she came, I was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, like I'm not touching nothing else because I feel like I want to puke my brains out." And I didn't really touch alcohol until I was like 23. That's when I picked up drinking again. But even still, it was more like in moderation, because I felt I didn't want to feel like I was going to throw up, and I hated that feeling. And so I poured the rest. Like when I came to, I didn't throw up, but I was feeling like I was able to walk and not feel as though with sickness. I just poured it out, threw it away. I'm like, I'm good. But even then, like I said, like when I turned 23, like 23, 24, I picked up drinking again. But it was done in like moderation, like really, really moderation. Like have some beer here and there. I would get some whiskey, and I would keep whiskey. I would keep some rum, Bacardi in particular, and that was it. The moderation. Here we go.
Moderation council.
Here we go. But even still, like, and even then, like, I didn't drink to the point where I got drunk. It was just more so of I would do 3 bottles of beer, I was good. Or I would take like a little glass and like pour whiskey in it, and I would probably sip on that throughout the day and be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Maybe if I pushed my limits, maybe 3 glasses of whiskey, and I would still be good. Still be good, still be able to function, whatever else. But even then, I was still at the point where, like, I really don't want to overdo it because I know how I felt the last time. And if I ever have that feeling again, I know I'm not drinking no more. No more. I'm good. I'm good. Ooh.
And actually, I just saw these comments too. Like, I'm gonna look at the thing that you mentioned, the 221, because I don't think I heard of this, to be honest. But I do know Four Loko. I never drank it in college. I actually never had one until I was like well into grad school. It's probably like 22, if not 23. And I remember the other one was the 40s because there were things that like gas stations because like a lot of the liquor stores would close at 9 or earlier. So it's like, okay, you really can't get anything very late, even on like a Friday. Like here, I can go to places that were open till 10, 11. But I was in upstate New York, and now everything was closed by 9. I didn't have a car. I was 21, but like I basically had to go to gas stations, and what was there? Four Loko, and
Yeah.
40. And I didn't know really what 40s were. But once I did have a 40, and I guess me and my friend Carlos, probably on a different occasion, we're like, okay, we need to go to some party or something. So I was trying to kill it. And I did not realize how big these like 40s like were. And so I'm just drinking, and I'm like, this thing is not ending. And like I was fine. Like I didn't feel like I was very bloated, but I didn't like get sick. But I was like, I see why people die playing like that Edward 40 hands. And I'm like, no, y'all are like doing a lot. Like I think I haven't seen it, but just imagine. And I was like, this is a lot. Like, no, thank you.
I only played Edward 40 hands once, and it was just with one hand. That was so much. It was so. I was like, this is a lot. Like, they don't sell 40s in Florida, but because Tallahassee was like pretty close to like the Georgia line, people would sometimes just drive to Georgia, pull up to like some gas station, buy some 40s, and then drive back down to Tallahassee. So it was cool, like experiencing a 40, but it was just like this, like why? This seems like one beer to drink for like the whole day. You know? So it is. It's a lot. Like you feel like okay, I've had like. He's like, oh, I've had like 2 12-ounce beers. I've had 3 12-ounce beers. Like, that's what it was like. That's like the equivalent of like maybe like 4 beers. It's not like that big of a deal. But when it's just coming from one bottle, it's just like, no. I'd rather it be like Edward 8 hands, like just 12, just 8 12 ounces. It's like, okay, now I could open this one before it starts to go flat or before it starts to get too warm and all this kind of crap. Oh boy.
Oh. That left a taste in my mouth. Ugh.
Quite literally, right?
Quite literally. Just because even then, just a thought about them, like, never again. I don't care. Ain't no way. I could not do a 40. Ain't no way.
Like fruity gasoline. Yeah, because I was thinking about fruity drinks. I remember like talking to people who like one girl was like, I say screw gender norms, they're for losers, but she did admit like, okay, if you're at a place that's like, for like, I mean, at the time I didn't really drink like that, so I didn't quite understand. But she was like, if you have a place that's like specialty beer, and I think she was talking about like draft, like they have a lot of the draft beer, and it's like, like it's meant for like getting the local stuff. Like you really shouldn't be out here ordering like a Shirley Temple, and it's not because like, oh, Shirley Temple, you're a guy. Look at you. It's just like, no, this is not the place for that. This is like a tavern. This is like a speakeasy. It's like a nice place where it's like, let's actually try to like tap into, no pun intended, into like the local stuff. What's on tap? What's the draft like? So I don't mind like the fruity stuff. It's not my go-to personally. Plus I don't drink as much. Well, okay. I was gonna say I don't drink as much sugar, but like all of this stuff, all of the wines and the beers are inherently gonna have it. But I don't mind like as long as it's. I try to get things that are a bit more like specialty though. So I probably won't be ordering like a basic Shirley Temple or whatever. But I'm still probably get something that is fruity. Like I was just in like Northern Virginia, like I mentioned, outside of DC on Friday, and like I got these drinks that I can't remember the name of them, but they definitely were they definitely were like they had flavor. They were fruity. They had flavor, and it was fine. One was like I think the vodka type thing. Other one was some kind of whiskey type drink. Go for it. Do what your heart desires. Dame más gas. Is that actually the lyric of Gasolina? I never knew what. Yo.
Oh man, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember that song. Couldn't understand a word he was saying, but the beat was hot. The beat was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So, you guys, believe it or not, we've been live for 3 hours and 15 minutes. Yes, where is Daddy Yankee when you need him?
That counter.
Yes, we've been live for 3 hours and 15 minutes. And we just like to say thank you guys for stopping in and watching us because, man, this was a fun topic to talk about. Really fun topic to talk about. And if there's anything when it comes to dating, I guess, just be safe and use your brain. I'm not going to say use your head, but use your brain. Use your brain. Fellas, you use your brain. This one right here.
This one. Use this one.
This one, the gray matter. The gray matter.
God.
Use the gray matter that's up here, and you will be all right. You'll be all right. You'll be just fine, and also just realize that not all dating advice is good advice. Not all dating advice is good advice, and be mindful that yes, the dating apps that are out there, proceed with caution as much as possible. Read the fine print as much as possible. Just know that once you sign that commitment, you may not get your money back. So if you're going to commit, just know what you're committing to. But yeah, so Liz, Chad, Barack, I know we had DJ L7. He was in here for a little bit. Shout out to Mark.
Alexis.
Alexis. Yep, Alexis is in here. Me and the lovely Ray. Oh, let me see if I can see who's still here with us.
Watcher Olquin. Liz,
yeah,
I think
Watcher Olquin. And then here goes some people who haven't spoken. I'm gonna talk to you guys too as well. So Watcher Olquin, Umaro 11, Cleverville, I'm that SOI Cleverville. We can't malicious intent, lurk, Cax, feet, Donnie with an H, and Vasamore. I hope that I said that correctly. Shout out to you guys as well on Twitch for stopping in and stopping by. L, Kobe, do you guys have? Well, we know Kingston has some last words to say. So okay, Kingston.
Yeah, now Kingston wants to talk.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There you go.
Because I probably have to take him out.
I love it. That's how I am with this wine. Like, I don't touch these bottles at all, even on the weekend. And then it's like Tuesday, here we are.
No, I love it.
We love it. Yes, I love it too. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, L, Toby, final words?
Just, be safe. Don't be stupid, like what Ron said. Use the brain in your head, the top head on your shoulders. Yeah. And, don't be like fooled by, people who are just trying to be out here just to make money, because you could easily be swindled like those who were swindled by the Tinder swindler.
Mhm.
You know, especially when you're vulnerable and you're thinking that you're, you know, you found like the secret to getting into a woman's pants or something.
Mm.
And
Excuse me.
you've had
The chattiness.
and you've had the secret within you all along.
It was with you all along.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes,
get God.
Chad, I love it. Such a Chad.
Okay, good.
Good guy. Yo, that's real though. If you wanted to use the other head, proceed with extreme caution. Like, just extreme caution. Y'all stay safe. That's what I got to say on that one. And for sure, when it comes to all these people, everyone has their ideas of what is gonna get you a baddie or whatever, or like, you know, people have their agendas, and so you have to be careful because, you know, the Lord knows what you're kind of signing up into. You got to be yourself, be authentic, self-improve for sure, but don't fall. You know, it's like a get-rich-quick scheme for dating. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So just be cautious out here. I kind of feel like it's nice to kind of almost like entertainment watch some of these podcasts or like these dating websites or advice, or these people who've done all this research. But I would try not to put too much stake into a lot of these things lest you get disappointed or burned. But yeah, that's I guess that's what I mostly have to say about that. Check the Discord. I'm probably going to drop a few like random channels and videos and links that I've found that pertain to all of this.
Sure.
Yes.
Because there's been some interesting things that I've come across. But anyway, overall, thank you all for joining and making this a very lively discussion, very diverse points of view and just like topics really within this topic.
Yeah. And we can always continue this conversation in the Discord.
Indeed.
Have any, you know, if any thoughts came up and you didn't get a chance to write it in YouTube because it was, you know, for whatever reason, or Twitch, you always can talk to us on Discord.
Yes. Utilize Discord. I just sent it in Twitchverse. And then YouTube, you guys got that link as well. That's the link to join the TMC Discord. We would love to keep the conversation going and the comments going. Like what Elle said, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is everybody good?
Good.
We are good. Okay. So, you guys, it's been great vibing out with you guys. Great having the conversations with you guys as always. Tune in next week. Ooh, actually, next week is going to be a start of a new monthly topic. So you guys come in and get ready to have another lively discussion. And, you know, we're going to have fun with this next one. We're going to have fun with this. So come in next week, same time, same channel, same trio. You never know. We might bring a special guest, but you never know unless you're here. So without further ado, this is the Melanated Council. We are signing off for tonight. Peace.
Wow.